best in the West. Bob Whitsitt, team president of the Sonics. Eddie Johnson goes one-on-one with Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley. And fantastic messages, video messages from you fans. We've taken the 5 best, and we've got a winner. And that winner will, of course, get a couple of tickets to some upcoming Sonics playoff games. So all of that ahead. Buckle up, get ready. We're coming right back at you in just a moment.
Boom, shack, boom, boom, shack, boom, boom, shack, like boom.
Sonic.
Welcome back. He is Eddie Johnson. I am Kevin Calabro. And Eddie, undoubtedly, you had to be psyched about the direction this team was taking after the first-round playoff victory over the Golden State Warriors. What was your mood coming into November and December of this year?
I was very upbeat. I felt that if we came out and played extremely well early, we could have a great record. And that's what happened. We hit some walls during the course of the season, but we were able to make mistakes because we built such a lead with our record, and we ended up with a great record.
Let's now take a look at some of the highlights of November and December for this edition of the Sonics 92-93.
The Sonics began the season in Yokohama, Japan. After 13 hours in the air, a 2-hour bus ride from Narita Airport, and a day to adjust to the time change, the Sonics were ready for Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. Sends it ahead to Payton. Over it comes to McMillan. Lob pass, backdoor. Campbell takes it and tomahawk it home. Kemp, who would celebrate his 23rd birthday 2 weeks later, totaled 29 points and 20 rebounds. The Sonics won 111-94 to start the year.
After losing their first game of the season at Phoenix, George Karl and the now 4-1 Sonics returned home to meet Pat Riley's New York Knicks. Excellent ball movement helped the Sonics overcome New York's tough physical defense. Although early in the season, Seattle's penchant for an up-tempo attack became increasingly evident. Veteran Eddie Johnson scored 28 points coming off the bench as Seattle defeated the Knicks 100-90.
Following a disappointment in the Kingdome against the Chicago Bulls, the Sonics regrouped quickly and belted Detroit 2 nights later.
Here's Kemp breaking out in front of Ulrich for a steal. He'll go all the way in for the tomahawk slam jam. To McKee, cross court to Cage, spin inside, steps by Walker to the glass.
December started with a visit from Shaquille O'Neal. The Magic led at half by 7. However, the Shaq Man was held at bay. Ricky Pierce led 7 Sonics in double figures with 27 points. The Sonics finished December at 10-4. The highlights definitely were the 2 wins over Portland.
Now taken by Pierce, leaping away from the crowd is Payton with a great lead pass.
Without Sean Kemp, the Sonics traveled to Portland 4 days later.
Here's Scheffler into the lane. A left-handed runner over Williams. Here's outside, pull up 3, missed it. Rebound McKee up, and hammers it in with the left hand. Rebound McKee. McKee floating around the floor effortlessly. And he comes with the left hand to McMillan with a lays it up and in.
When George came here and we responded to him, he was a guy that really emphasized coming out very aggressively, playing hard, leaving your all out on the floor, and he was going to play the guys that did that. And I think we responded to that, and we carried that over into this season here, where we came out very aggressively. We knew we was going to play hard. Whether we won or lost, we was going to play hard. And I think that's been the biggest key and still is the key to this team.
You know, team co-captain Nate McMillan really personifies, I think, the character of this team. He is just a good basketball player. You can put him at probably 4 positions, and you're going to be all right with Nate.
No doubt about it. I mean, he and Michael Cage, to me, are the heart and soul of this team. They do all the dirty work.
The Phoenix Suns, they are the team to beat. There's no question about it, because I think primarily of one man.
Well, you know, they've had an awesome season. I mean, that's all you have to say. They've won consistently the whole year and never hit a wall. The last part of the year they did, only because they're resting some players. But they've done it from start to finish, and they are the team to beat no matter what anybody says.
We had a chance to speak to the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Paul Westphal, earlier this year.
From a coach's perspective, is there more emphasis on coaching in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season?
Well, I think you have more time to prepare, and in that regard, the players can adjust to what the other team does. You get a little more short-tempered and defensive, and games get rougher. It's mostly because you get used to what the other team does, and they don't catch you by surprise so much.
Having as many veterans as you do on the ball club has got to be a huge advantage coming into the playoffs. These are guys that have been in it time and time again.
Well, we have some guys that have been there that are very motivated, Charles Barkley and Danny Ainge particularly. Then the players that have been with us have been in the playoffs a lot over the last 4 or 5 years. But we've got some rookies, too, that don't know what it's all about. And we count on Richard Dumas and Oliver Miller a lot. And we don't know how they're going to react yet.
Best of luck to you, Paul, in the playoffs. You just had a wonderful ride. Nice job.
Well, so far so good. Thank you.
That's Paul Westphal of the Phoenix Suns.
And you've got to hand it to Paul Westphal. He's done an excellent job. He mentioned the rookies, but you also add Danny Ainge and Charles Barkley. You've got Tom Chambers, who's already with that Phoenix ball club. Some people thought this is a mix that will not work. Boy, were they ever wrong. And you've got to give him a great deal of credit for bringing those guys together.
No doubt about it. They've really blended together very well. And you have to give it to the guy where the credit goes. I mean, you can call him brash, you can call him controversial, but one thing Charles Barkley is, he's a player. And I had an opportunity to interview him.
Charles, you came from Philly, a team that sometimes struggled with consistency. And
Is that the same thing as saying we were terrible?
No, you wasn't terrible, but you're up and down. You made the playoffs one year and made them the next, and didn't make them the next. When you came to Phoenix, did you expect it to be like this?
Well, I can't say I expect us to be as well as we played, but I think you got to have high expectations. I felt like if I played well, KJ played well, Dan Marley, Ainge, and so on, I think if everybody played up to their potential, I thought we could have a great team, and that's how it's worked out.
Well, I've honestly felt so far this season, you all are the only team in the league that have not hit a wall. And what I mean by you haven't gotten any long losing streaks, you played consistent from the start to the finish. What do you think is the reason behind that?
Well, I tell you, one thing that has helped us is Kevin's been hurt a lot. And every time we got a little mentally fatigued or physically fatigued, he was able to carry us for a couple games because he's only played about 40 games throughout the season. So I think he's probably one of the fresher players in the league. So I think that's one thing that has really helped us throughout the year. Every time we hit that wall, Kevin was coming back 100%.
Who do you see in the Western Conference being some of the teams that you all going to have to have a hurdle over, and how do you see you all's chances?
I think, in realistic and being honest, I think Seattle is probably the only team that I really, really fear. Not because you're interviewing me, because I think y'all got the deepest team in the league. And one of our weaknesses, if we have any, is our lack of depth against big teams. So I feel like with the addition of Sam Perkins and with the guys y'all already had, that only made y'all better. Y'all are the only team that I really, really fear that could wear us down in a 7-game series.
Okay, I'm going to say one word, MVP. What do you think?
Well, you know what? I think that if I get it, it would be great. But I look at it like this. I look at Michael as an MVP. Sean's an MVP, Patrick Ewing's an MVP, Elijah Wan's an MVP. They're going to give it to who they want to, but I don't think, even if I win or not, I've always thought it was unfair because there are a lot of guys who deserve it.
Something tells me that he's sincere when he says that there are 5 or 6 guys, in his opinion, that could be MVPs. For my money, he's the guy this year, though. If you have to vote for somebody, Charles is the guy. Right now, we're going to take a look at the first of 5 fantastic messages in our contest tonight. And, of course, the winner receives free Sonic playoff tickets. What a deal. Let's take a look.
We got it down. Okay. Smash. Spurs. Oh, eliminate the Rockets. And nail the Nuggets. Ice the Jazz. C. Cream the Clippers. S. Squash the Suns. Sonic's number 1.
Prime Sports Northwest.
The Supersonics playoff special. Joining us now, my teammate, Sean Kemp. Sean, first off, my first question for you. 23 years old right now. You've been in the league 4 years. And people tend to think sometimes that you've been in longer than that. You led us in scoring this year, most of the year. You led us in rebounding. What do you think of the year that you've had so far?
Well, I think first of all, I have some personal goals this year to come in and play strong, make an all-star team, just help the team out in general as far as winning some ball games early on and just energize the team. And I think that's went pretty well for the first half of the season. The second half of the season, I feel like I struggled a little bit, and that's going to happen, I think, when you start getting respect down low and teams start double teaming you. And I think now it's just a learning experience I have to learn from each game I play.
You told me last year after the playoffs, Sean, that you felt as if you were wearing skates when you were playing Karl Malone. You said you really dedicated yourself in the offseason to packing some more weight on the frame. You came back, I think you told me in training camp, 30 pounds over what you had left the final game of the Utah series. Now's the payoff time, I guess, for all that hard work in the summertime as you go back head-to-head with Karl Malone.
Oh, definitely. Over the off-season, we worked on weights, basketball, gained a little weight, and I think this has been the first season where I lifted the whole season through, and I think it's going to help me out during this playoff. I feel much stronger than what I did last year at this time. I was a little tired, and the 82 games do get to you, and I think the weight in that program that I was on this year has really helped me.
Let me ask you about Eddie Johnson. Does he get on you on the floor? I mean, he's a guy that likes to take charge. He likes to talk to the opposition and certainly his own teammates as well. Talk about a little bit about the communication on the floor, what you fellows talk about when you're actually on the floor, when the passions are there, when the emotion is being unleashed and you're in the heat of battle. Do you get on each other a little bit? Is it all a conversation where you're trying to bolster each other out there? What's happening out there?
Oh, definitely. I think definitely at the defensive end with this team, sometimes we'll switch and there'll be a miscommunication, and you have to get on your teammate and to let him know he has to get better position on the defensive end. And Eddie's the type of player where late in the ball game, I think he really steps up and takes control on what's going out there on the floor. Is not afraid to take a shot at any time or what. Defensively, he steps up, I think, late in the ball game, and that just shows his character.
Are you amazed sometimes at the scoop shots that Eddie is able to throw up when running into the lane with people hanging on him? I know I am.
I tell you what, you see those shots in games, but if you were there every day in practice and see those shots, you couldn't believe it.
Well, I happened to dunk one in practice today.
That's right.
I kind of fool the guys every now and then, but I know what my strengths are, and that's to go under their arms instead of over their arms.
You got a little two-hand dunk in there today and got us riled up in practice.
Hey, good luck in the playoffs. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Sean Kemp with us. We're going to continue in a moment with more of our pre-playoff special in a moment.
Hey, Sean, this is your neighbor, Bob. Remember me? I work at a gas station at the bottom of the hill, and you drive in your beautiful car, and I take care of the windows, and I wash it off, and I check your tires for you every time. I make sure the water in your radiator is just right. All I want in return, after all of those days standing out in front of your house on that playground, beating the ball like that, you don't have to come up. You don't have to shake my hand. You don't have to say, hey, Bob, I love you. Here's a free ticket. All I want you to do is kill Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals, and then we'll see you against Chicago come the NBA championship. Go, buddy, go. Ha, 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 ha.
When you talk about playoff experience, you certainly talk about players and coaches, but consider, if you will, playoff experience gleaned by management. Bob Whitsitt was with the Sonics just a short period of time before Seattle made it to the Western Conference Finals back in the 86-87 year. And since then, he's been talking about winning 50-plus. Now this team has done it, and let's chat with him as he reviews the year.
We have, I think, 9 or 10 really good athletes on this basketball team, which gives us a lot of flexibility, a lot of depth. And to play 82 games at the level we play, I think you need a lot of players, and you need to be, able to do a lot of different things. So I like the athletic ability, I like the depth, and I like the attitude these guys have. But George has done an outstanding job. I think when you talk about the coach and the coaching staff and the players, they go hand in hand. I think the personality of the players and the coaching staff have to go together. They work together. They spend 7-8 months together, and they have to believe in each other. And I think what George does, he believes in these players. He believes in the systems. I think the players believe in the coach. And again, the personalities fit. You have a staff and a group of people that that enjoy playing basketball. They believe they can win, and as we go into the playoffs, that's what it's all about. You have to believe you can win. There's 2 first-round matchups, and we're one of them where this could very easily be a conference finals, and you're seeing these teams in the first round. So I think it's about who's playing well, who gets a little momentum, who can win a key game along the way, maybe get a break. And if you get a little momentum going, anything can happen. But I will say this, I truly believe the Sonics are one of about 7 teams this year in the entire league that have a chance to win the championship. This team made a step up from last year, and I think it's capable of making a step up next year. We have a lot of good young players that are gaining valuable experience. Our veterans still have a lot of good basketball left in them. The chemistry is outstanding. Everything is there. So again, what I've said before is you try to get to that plateau, break 50 wins, which we've done. Now the real key is to stay at that level or higher, and the more shots we have at it, the better opportunity we're going to have to win. So this team is just entering a cycle where I believe they can make 3 or 4 or 5 decent runs at it, and we'll see what we do on the first shot.
That is Team President Bob Whitsitt, who Eddie and I worked for and with in Kansas City, back with the Kansas City Kings. Too many years we care not to admit. Eddie, this was a fun year for the Sonics, the year '93. Let's kick it off with some highlights.
No doubt about it. We started off the new year playing our rivals, the Golden State Warriors. And here's a look at the highlights in January and February.
January 5th marked the first meeting between Seattle and Golden State since the playoffs last year. This time around, the Sonics wore the Warriors down in the 4th quarter.
Lead pass to Payton, one-on-one on Hardaway. Takes him, spins away to the glass, right to left hand, lays it up and in. Nice play, Gary Payton.
4 players scored 20-plus, and Seattle ushered in the new year. 1 week later, the Phoenix Suns brought the best record in the league to town.
How about that Oliver Miller? 3 blocks. Here's the pick and roll. Kemp will get it right by Dumas. And he comes with a bone-jarring 2-handed jam.
And he says, block this, Oliver Miller.
Brings McKee over to pick. McMillan rolls off of him. McKee rolls to the hole, but McMillan couldn't hit him. Outside to Johnson for 3. Got it. Eddie Johnson with a 3. PJ with 15 points.
Now, the Sonics, after 31 games, were 1 full game out of first place in the Pacific Division. After losing 5 of 7 to begin February, the Sonics summoned strength from a win over the Phoenix Suns.
McKee with it. Dumas has picked him twice. He'll take it left side, right by Dumas. In he comes. Left hand finger roll up and in. Derek McKee, nice play. Down low to McKee. Eludes Dumas. No look. He plays it up and in. Give it over to Barkley. He'll fire one off with 6. Got it. 5 seconds remaining in the game, and the Suns lead 94-93. McKee takes it left side. Goes to the glass. Lays it up and in. Not away. Heavy D. Now you're doing it, baby. All the way to the glass. Delivered the goods. What a play.
With that momentum, Seattle headed toward the All-Star break.
Well, this year's team is successful because, first of all, we had Coach Carl in training camp, all the players. We really got after it in training camp, and we emphasized our defense, aggressiveness and toughness, and offensively we wanted to get out in our transition game and play fast. And we did that, and I think that's the reason we have had so much success this year.
You talk about finishers. Ricky Pierce is a guy who can get to the rack, take a licking, and can put it through the basket. He's just amazing.
Well, one word describes Ricky, that's tough. If you want to single out any player this year who's done it from start to finish, it's Ricky Pierce. He's definitely our MVP of this year.
When you consider the Houston Rockets, you think of Hakeem Olajuwon, but the coach is Rudy Tomjanovich. He's been the one consistent through the years with Houston, 25 years as a player, as an assistant coach, now the head coach. And Rudy T has very quietly put things back together down in Houston. They have had the franchise high for wins, and they have clinched the Midwest Division. Rudy Tomjanovich, good coach. He talks about his experience in the NBA.
As an assistant under Bill Fitch and under Don Chaney, I just love the playoffs. And we went all the way to the finals with the Rockets when Fitch was coaching, and learned a heck of a lot doing tape work, and I think it really helped the players. And we'll do that also as far as knowing teams' tendencies, individuals' tendencies, and whatever little edge we can get, we've got time now to go after it. I'm really proud of this team, especially when you look at what people thought of the Houston Rockets. Our image was not good in this league. They felt we had no discipline, didn't concentrate, lost games to some of the teams that we should have beaten. And what we've done this year, the consistency we've shown, shows that we do concentrate, we do have character. You don't put a 15-game winning streak together. You don't put all the other streaks we had together. What I really like about them is the way we win is we have to work for it. Our defense does it. That's the key to this team. We can't go out and just outscore people. We can't just trade baskets with them. And I'm very fortunate to have guys that take pride in playing defense, and that's what I like most about this team.
Very likable gentleman, Rudy Tomjanovich, the head coach of the Houston Rockets. He's done a great job this year.
No doubt about it. The Houston Rockets has been the surprise team in the league so far this season. And one of your prime reasons is Hakeem Olajuwon. I had an opportunity to sit down and speak with him.
King, we're going to jump to last year just for one question. Obviously, last year was not a fun year for you. Are you glad you're still a Rocket?
Yes, I think everything worked out for the best. I'm happy to be in Houston. And I've been in Houston now for 12 years, so I'm happy to be a Rocket.
That's great. Your team started out slowly this year, and right now, since the All-Star break, you're probably the best team in the league. And you won the Midwest Division yesterday, clinched that title. Why? Why the turnaround?
I think the players now, all of us, we get to accept each other. Like last year, we were playing individual basketball, but now we sacrifice the individual game for the team glory. I think that has been the difference so far.
Also, Otis Thorpe wasn't with you all early, and what I tell a lot of people is, he's a key ingredient, especially for you, because he's an excellent inside player. A lot of teams have to structure their defense toward him also, and I think he relieves a lot of pressure off of you. Can you tell me a little bit about Otis Thorpe and what he's meant to this team?
Well, I enjoy so much playing with Otis because he's so physical, and now I'm not even playing inside game anymore. So he's playing more like a center, I'm playing more like a forward. So he's a very important key to this team.
Now, I look forward to hopefully playing you all in the second round. I hope we get the home court advantage, but if not, it's going to be a great series.
Well, even though at home, we still can beat you guys at home. So really, either way, we'll be ready.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Well, after everything that happened last year between management and Hakeem Olajuwon, it to me still is quite a success story for him to patch up his differences, play with Houston, and for them to succeed the way they have.
No doubt, but he got a bushel of money to kind of help solve some of those problems.
In a hurry. Now let's take a look at number 3, our fantastic message to the Seattle Supersonics, courtesy of the fans.
Ready, go.
I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say we'll win for you?
Go, Sonics! Yeah!
This Prime Sports Northwest Sonics playoff preview is brought to you by Dairy Queen, Les Schwab Tires, Payless Drugstores, and Rainier Beer.
Take us all the way, guys. We're counting on you. Go, Sonics! Hey, guys. Good luck in the playoffs. We're behind you.
I forgot to do that.
I guess In Vogue wasn't available, but the players' wives, ladies and gentlemen, Joy Johnson with the hat. I like that, Eddie. It's a beautiful hat that she had on.
Well, she does know how to get her clothes, Kevin.
Joining us now is Sam Perkins. Sam, thanks very much for joining us. The playoffs coming around. And Eddie, it's nice to have a guy like Sam Perkins on the ball club, a guy who's been to the wars, has been to the finals. You, of course, have been to the Western Conference Finals. Sam, you've been to the finals. How beneficial is that to a ball club, would you say, to have a group of fellows who've been that far?
Well, it helps a great deal. When you get players, 2 or 3 players who know what it's like, and even just competing, it feels pretty good because you kind of like have experience, and plus you let all the other guys know what it's going to be like and how hard it is to get there, because it's a combination of a lot of things, skills and a little bit of luck, but also it's experience counts as well.
You know, fellas, every year we get the talk from the media, and I think the media, because of the lead questions to the players, gets the same response from players and coaches. Oh, it's a half-court game. The physical teams are going to have the advantage. How much of that do you really buy, Sam? Is that true? And if it is true, can a running, trapping basketball team like the Supersonics prevail in the playoffs?
Well, I think if you X out all the media attention and if you just have a basketball game and each team fills each other out, each team knows it's already going to be physical and everybody's going to know it's going to be tight. So if you X out the media attraction, distractions, and all their sayings, you have a game that is just going to come down to 12 individuals, you know, and whoever outplays the guy, whoever be the guy or the team that's top notch in that situation is going to overcome. So it doesn't really matter what everyone else says, just matter how we, you know, go out there and accomplish what we got to do.
It's interesting because all those records fall by the wayside. All the accomplishments during the 82 games fall by the wayside. And like you say, it's the best team. There are no pretenders that get to the NBA Finals. You got to have it to get there.
No doubt about it. I think, you know, I agree with Sam. I think the series are so long. It's give and take. It's like what team can adjust from game to game. Mm-hmm. And I think the team that adjusts the best will win.
Big Smooth. Thanks for joining us, Sam. Glad you're on board for the playoffs to come. That is Sam Perkins with us here on our look at the playoffs. Right now we're going to stop and take a look at a fantastic message coming up next. Welcome back to the program with Eddie Johnson. I'm Kevin Calabro, and the Sonics looked down at the schedule. The month of March looked, well, it looked vicious. It looked tough. 17 games in 31 days, but they came out of it okay. Let's take a look at the highlights from March and April. Lenny Wilkins led the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers into the Coliseum, trying to break the Sonics' 7-game winning streak.
McKee hands off to Kemp. Kemp from the head of the key will leave it over to Payton. Feeds over to Johnson. Up, makes, backs down Nance. Double team, turns and pops and ties. 15 on the shot clock. McMillan floats it low to McKee. Turns, fall away, baseliner missed it. Rebound, Perkins up and in. Sam with the right hand. Sam I am.
The Sonics prevailed in overtime, 108-105 in a thriller. On the road against Utah and the Malones, the Sonics tried to extend their winning streak to 5 games, with Ricky Pierce scoring 28 points. The Sonics did just that, with an impressive 108-97 victory over the Jazz. 2 nights later, it was on to Houston to meet Akeem Olajuwon and the resurgent Rockets.
Askew to Johnson, works the baseline, double team, try to split the beautiful hook pass in the lane for a waiting Ricky Pierce. And it's tapped outside, grabbed by Askew. He'll bring it up the center of the floor. Give it to Payton into the lane, sets his feet, the scoop shot on the way, he got it.
In the month of April, Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks visited the Coliseum and soon found out firsthand what team defense is all about.
Wilkins again bottled up, double team by Payton. McKee, they're all over.
Again, the steady veteran, Ricky Pierce, led the way with 19 first-half points.
Michael covered by Ogman and Concat, gives it to Pierce. He'll sprint it with a left-hand dribble. Up with a right, he'll lay it in from about 5 feet out. They'll bring Perkins down to pick for Johnson. He'll roll off the pick, get it from McMillan, cuts into the lane, stops, hooks it up and in.
Eddie Johnson's 14 points in the fourth quarter secured an easy 129-105 victory for Seattle. Later in the month, the Sonics traveled to the Valley of the Sun to face Kevin Johnson and company.
Knocked down McMillan. Sonics control the rebound. Pierce on the drive to Payton to lay it up and in. The Sonics have come out charged. Bends it low. Here is the big man. Sean Kemp into the lane. Left-handed jam.
From a team standpoint, I think once the reality hits, the playoffs is here. I think it definitely will give us a wake-up call. Right now, the ups and downs in the season in the last 2-3 weeks that we've had has been a struggle of somewhat hitting the wall towards the end of the season, just wanting the playoffs to come. I think once the playoffs come to reality and the suddenness of you win, you're in, you lose, you're out, I think that'll definitely kind of relight the fire that we've been missing the last couple of weeks.
That is Dana Barros, who last year got hot and had quite a string of three-pointers in that Golden State series. He could be that X factor for Seattle this year.
No doubt about it. I think Dana's had a tough year in terms of playing a lot, but it is a key to our team, especially to our bench. When he's raining those threes, you better look out.
You know, one of the great series coming up in the playoffs will be between the Portland Trail Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs. Now we get some perspective on the series from the coaches and the players.
You have to get yourself mentally prepared, and you know, our team knows what that's all about, and it's still the same purpose in mind. Go out and get yourself ready for the playoffs, because we feel if we're healthy and we have everybody in tune, we can beat anybody in the playoffs, but we have to go out and show that in the court. I think there's a lot of other teams that feel the same way, but we feel as a group that we can do it.
We hit the playoffs and we are playing well, and we come together you know, as a cohesive unit during that time, then I think we can get back to where we've been in the last 2 or 3 years.
I think because of the injuries, there have been major setbacks. I think the dedication, the hustle, the ability to help your teammates out, all of that's there. I think we got to have the same guys on the court to get the kind of chemistry that we need to become that team again.
Well, I think Clyde is the key to this basketball team. He's a player that creates offense for other players. He's been creating offense for myself and Jerome and also Terry Porter for 3 years now. We need Clyde back.
You coaches don't really have many secrets in the playoffs, do you?
There's no secrets now, Kevin, at this point. You know, everybody knows pretty much what everybody's going to do, and you really can't change anything going into the playoffs. What you can do is go to a different option, run the same play with different people from different angles. That's the differences that you do, and make a play look like a different play, but it really is the same play. You know, basketball is a simple game. Everybody ends up in a triangle. It's just which cute way do we get there? You know, that makes a big difference. So one thing I wanted to establish was our team with 9 guys never been in the playoffs, and a coaching staff that hadn't been there besides George and myself as players. We had to grow up quickly, Kevin, so I gave ownership to our team right away and have them take responsibility so they can understand what it's going to be like coming down the stretch.
I think this team has a lot of the tools to win a championship. It's just going to, I mean, it all comes down to the playoffs, how we're going to approach it. And my first year we played tough. My second year we didn't play as tough in the playoffs, and we got knocked out in the first round. So, you know, we'll see. I think if we go into it with the right mental approach, then there's a lot of things we can do.
That's going to be just a dynamite series. Portland, of course, has all that experience gleaned over the last 3 years, and San Antonio has the Admiral.
No doubt about it. David Robinson is obviously the glue that holds them together. But one guy that I'm really afraid of, and he showed it when he got traded here to Seattle years ago, and he upset Dallas in the playoffs almost by himself, and that's Dale Ellis. He's looking forward to a potential matchup against the Sonics.
All right, speaking with Dale Ellis here, you've been to Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference once you left Seattle. Now you're in San Antonio. What's life like in San Antonio, and are you happy there?
I'm happy with it. You know, I'm just happy to have an opportunity to play with a team that I thought could win it all. You know, we have all the tools. We have all the players to get it done. Actually gave up a little money. I took a cut in salary to leave Milwaukee to come and play with this team.
Let's talk a little bit about the playoff race now. excluding you all, who do you think are the tough teams that you all have to hurdle to get to the Western Conference Finals and get into the NBA Finals?
Oh, Portland. It's like we're going to face Portland in the first round, and they're a playoffs experienced team. You know, they've been there the last 2 years, haven't been able to win it, but I think if we can get by them, we have a very good chance to make it to the finals of the Western Conference, and, you know, anything can happen. But, you know, Phoenix is a tough team. You know, we've had success against them when we've lost close games against them. We feel that we can beat Phoenix. There's no doubt we can beat Seattle. So I think
that'll make life grand for you, because when you came here from Dallas, you was able to really put a hurting on Dallas, and to get that opportunity maybe again, I'm sure you'd be pumped up for it.
Definitely. You know, I was really excited about the possibilities of meeting you all in the second round of the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for being my guest, and hopefully we will see you all in the Western Conference Finals.
All right.
So then we can talk smack to each other like we always do.
Okay.
Eddie Johnson and Dale Ellis talking smack on the floor. It's unimaginable, I know.
Well, the Sonic fans have to be amazed at how much Dale talked during that interview. But you know, he's a good friend of mine, and I kind of loosened him up a little bit, and he's raring to go.
All right, if you're ready, Eddie, I am. Let's take a look at our final fan message of the program.
Okay, ready? For 3 generations of Andersons, Carl, Craig, Leif,
And cool.
saying, Go Sonics! Wow!
Last year, the Utah Jazz beat the Seattle Supersonics in the second round of the playoffs. They moved into the Western Conference Finals, and although they didn't win against Portland, they felt pretty good about themselves. They were nearly invincible last year. Utah at home, the Sonics nailed them a couple of times. This year, Eddie, they've been guilty of inconsistencies, and it's easy to see why. The rest of the league has gotten a little better.
No doubt about it, and also I think it's just a lack of having Mark Eaton. Utah depends on that big body in the middle. They're the type of team that likes to funnel you to the middle and with your penetration, and there's Mark Eaton standing there. Well, Mark hasn't been there this year because of his knee, and now with the acquisition of James Donaldson, I think they feel like maybe he can fill that void. But Utah is a very confident team against the Seattle Supersonics, as well they should be, but we welcome the thought of playing them.
And they've got a very good coach, of course, in Jerry Sloan, who can break down an opponent. Let's take a look at an interview with Jerry Sloan.
Every matchup obviously is important, but what seems to be what are the 2 maybe key matchups in a Jazz Sonics game?
I think it's trying to match up with their big people. Obviously, you have to be concerned with the guys that's always hurt us from an offensive standpoint has been Pierce and Eddie Johnson. Their ability to shoot the ball and score big time points for them. But it's still a game that boils down to being able to try to stop their big people. Kemp and McKee and guys like that are very difficult to play, and their guards are very quick. They do a terrific job putting a lot of pressure on you. They'll trap you, do different things to you, and really keep you out of sync if they can. And those things are difficult if you aren't on top of your game and sharp mentally. They're very difficult to play against.
You know, there are a lot of interesting matchups in this series too, particularly the one that you'd be involved in when you're on the floor.
Yeah, Ricky Pierce and I, they always talk about matchups, and it's a game of matchups, and I get a chance to guard Ricky a lot, even though Nate McMillan guarded me a lot and Ricky guard Tyrone and Dave. But I look forward to Ricky. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great player and a great scorer.
Now we welcome him, George Karl. George, welcome to the program. We just heard what Jerry Sloan had to say, Jeff Malone had to say. Pretty boring stuff. They didn't want to be too agonizing, I think, or antagonistic toward you. They were very nice to you, very respectful of the Sonic team.
Well, I think we're going to be the same way. I think we all respect Utah. Last year's series, we lose in 5 games, but it was a series that we all felt we could have won. Had leads in 4 of the 5 games in the fourth quarter and didn't make the plays down the stretch, and they did. Stockton was very good down the stretch. Malone was very good for the whole series, and they seemed to always in the games get someone to play well. Corbin had a good game one night. Benoit have a game the next night. Malone would have in the game. Jeff Malone would have another game. So they pieced their winning together very well.
Obviously, they're going to go at Sean. They're going to go at Sam, and we're going to have to do some things to probably take away from that.
I think our major concern is Karl Malone to begin with, and also Stockton the ball being in Stockton's hands all the time. But I think with Karl Malone, we're going to double him a lot, and I think we can double him in different ways. We have 6 fouls. We have 6 fouls with Perkins, 6 fouls with Michael Cage, and 6 fouls with Sean Kemp. So in a lot of ways, I think we can stay out of foul trouble with 18 fouls in that situation. I think all 3 of them will play time against him. But he's a great player, an all-star player, someone that we just going to have to learn as games go on how to beat him and how to win the game.
How much did the addition of Jay Humphries and Larry Krystkowiak change this ball club through the course of the year, in your opinion, George? And we'll get Eddie's opinion as well.
I think it's going to be decided now. I think their season has been hurt by Eaton not having any major part in their game. He's been hurt a lot. He hasn't played very well when he has been healthy, and now he's back on the injured reserve list. And so I think their major drop has been defensively. They're not as tough defensive team, and they don't have the shot blocking presence that they had last year. Humphries and Krystkowiak, I don't know if they've had great years or bad years, but I think they were brought to Utah for the playoffs. They were brought for the playoff experience of they've been there before. They're veteran players. They have a little more confidence, a little more experience in pressure situations.
Humphries a versatile guy, and he can play both positions. That's a plus for him.
No doubt. He's very strong. He's real good defensively, especially with his hands, and he definitely complements Stockton, and when they play together, it makes them a lot tougher. And he's definitely caused some problems for us this year in that, you know, I guess the first game they played here, he played big for him. They went one-on-one to him, and he made some things happen. And he and Tyrone Corbin are definitely the keys for their team. If we can control those guys, I think we'll have a good series.
Now you know everything there is to know about the Utah Jazz, courtesy of Eddie Johnson and one George Karl. Coach, thanks for joining us on the program. Good luck to you. We'll be right back to take a look at our fan segment when we continue here in a moment to wrap things up on our preview of the playoffs. We've had a great time with this program. During the course of the show, we've seen the 5 fan video messages. Bob Tabscott is our winner. He wins a couple of playoff tickets. He, of course, is Sean Kemp's neighbor. So he says, Eddie. I mean, he fooled me. It was a great message to the Seattle Supersonics. And this has been a wonderful show. I think you agree with me, obviously, that the Sonics are one of 5 or 6, maybe 7 teams that can win the ring this year. And there's just a small margin between the teams that get it done and the teams that just finish second or third in this NBA of ours.
No doubt about it, Kevin. I just think this show is a great beginning to a perfect end.
That's Eddie Johnson. I'm Kevin Calabro. That'll do it. We'll see you in the playoffs this year.
This Prime Sports Northwest Sonics playoff preview was brought to you by Dairy Queen, Les Schwab Tires, Payless Drugstores, and Rainier Beer.
89-85, John Stockton, 14 points and 12 assists. The mailman came back in Game 2 with a 26-point, 9-rebound effort. But maybe the most crucial of all, Mark Eaton, 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks. The Seattle Supersonics led by 5 at half in Game 3. Sam Perkins, 20 points, 9 rebounds. Derek McKee's 14.7 boards carried the Sonics. But the Jazz came back in the second half behind David Benoit and the always consistent Karl Malone to win Game 3. Game 4 coming up next. Sonics basketball is being brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light. Get out of the old, get into the cold. The new Subaru Impreza, what to drive. Farmers Insurance, America depends on farmers. Coca-Cola Classic, you can't beat the real thing. Seafirst Bank, proud to be a sponsor of the Sonics. Alaska Airlines, again and again, frequent travelers rate Alaska the best airline in the U.S. Safeway, nobody does it better. AT&T, a proud sponsor of the NBA and the Sonics. Washington State Lottery's Lotto game. What you do with the money is up to you. Jeep and Eagle, where you'll find the new Jeep Grand Cherokee and new Eagle Vision. Pizza Hut, sometimes you just gotta stop and smell the pizza. And by GTE, proud to be a sponsor of the Supersonics. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, where tonight the Supersonics of Seattle take on the Utah Jazz. This is a best-of-5 series with the Jazz leading 2-1, following their 90-80 victory 2 nights ago here at the Delta Center. The Seattle Supersonics, 55 wins during the course of the year, with a 4th best record in the NBA, take on the Utah Jazz, a team that, with 47 victories in the minds of many people here in Salt Lake City, underachieved. Midwest Division champions a year ago, they finished 3rd. For George Karl, he's in a somewhat unaccustomed role, cast now as the favorite with this basketball team, down 2-1
George Karl has got to find a way to energize this basketball team in Game 4 and score better than the 88 points that they have been scoring per game average in the previous 3 games and shoot much better than the 41% in which they have averaged. A big test for the coach. We'll be right back with Keys to the Game and Wally Walker when our coverage continues on our simulcast in a moment here on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.
Time now for the Keys to the Game, brought to you by your local Puget Sound Jeep and Eagle dealers, where you'll find the new Jeep Grand Cherokee and Eagle Vision.
Welcome back to the Delta Center. Now Keys to the Game, joined by Wally Walker. We talk about Karl Malone being the great offensive threat, number 3 in the NBA and scoring 27 a game. But according to Sonics coach George Karl, it's Malone's defense in the series, particularly in Game 2 and 3, that's been the difference.
Let's face it, Karl Malone was embarrassed by Shawn Kemp in Game 1. Shawn put up the huge numbers, both scoring and rebounding. Malone has not helped off Shawn Kemp much. When Shawn's in the game, Malone is right by him, laying that big body on number 40 for the Sonics. I think for Shawn to get going in this ball game tonight, his offense has got to come off the offensive glass. He was very effective using his quickness and his jumping ability in Game 1. He needs to get back to that type of game.
So Kemp's numbers will have to come through the regular and natural flow of the offense rather than to go down there, obviously, and go mano a mano against Karl Malone. Now, the Sonics offensively are a running basketball team, and they absolutely must push the ball up the floor.
This series has demonstrated that at the half-court level, with their offense, the Sonics are not a good executing club. For them to be effective, for them to get the score in the 90s or 100s where they need to be, they need to push the ball up the court. Now, obviously, the guys who do that are Nate McMillan and Gary Payton. Those 2 guys have got to push the ball after a made basket, after a rebound, after a turnover, get in seams, and make the offense work that way.
And Nate McMillan offensively has struggled, obviously, 1 for 15, but it's his defense as well that seemingly Wally has fallen off of that high level that he attained during the regular season.
Well, Nate's an emotional leader on this club, and I expect him to have a good ball game here tonight. He's not the kind of guy that's going to take the performance he's had laying down.
The key for Utah has been, in my opinion, in 2 and 3, the bench. I mean, you look what Corbin has done, Humphries has done, Brown has done. They've played very well.
There's 7 guys on the Utah Jazz bench. The only guys you'll see in a ball game tonight, if Jerry Sloan has his way, are the 3 on this screen right here. The other guys get all the minutes, and they have been very effective after Game 1, particularly Tyrone Corbin, who's extremely active and can guard almost every player on the Sonic roster.
The lineups, we are told, will remain the same. We'll be back to take a look at them and the tip here in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Welcome to the Delta Center, 19,000 plus, screaming, wild, fanatical Utah Jazz fans and a small sprinkling of Sonic fans here tonight. The Jazz leading the series 2 games to 1. The lineups being introduced. It is time now to review our Subaru starting lineup, brought to you by the new Subaru Impreza. What to drive? Here we go. Derek McKee having an outstanding playoff series against the Jazz. Now his 6th year out of Alabama. Shawn Kemp, who was enormous in Game 1 with his 29 points, 17 rebounds, but in Games 2 and 3, Karl Malone has put the clamps down. Sam Perkins, 20 points, 9 boards in Game 3. They'll need another big performance tonight from Sam I Am. The guards, Gary Payton and the veteran Ricky Pierce. Those 2 combined for 31 points in Game 1 in the victory. George Karl, unaccustomed to being the favorite coach, and a big test for George here tonight against the Utah Jazz. 47 and 35 during the course of the regular year, 28 and 13 here at home. Led by the mailman, the dream teamer. All team, first team, number 3 in the NBA in scoring, Karl Malone. Also on the front line, David Benoit, the KG veteran, or I should say the wily youngster in his 3rd year from Alabama. Mark Eaton will be the center. How long can he play tonight is one of the questions we hope to answer. And the guards will be John Stockton, 4th all-time assist leader, 2nd all-time in steals, and Jeff Malone, averaging 18 per ball game. Jerry Sloan is the head coach. He's done a masterful job with this Utah team in the playoffs. We are set to play. The Jazz have won 8 of their last 10 during the regular season at home, 5 straight. The officials, Mike Mathis, Steve Javi, and Eddie F. Rush. Here we go. Tap deflected on the way up by Kemp. Eddie F. Rush says it was stolen on the way up, and the Sonics will again distribute themselves around the circle here at center court, and Mark Eaton will step in with Shawn Kemp. No question, Kemp the better of the 2, off 2 feet, but Eaton is 7'4", so he starts with about a half-foot head start. Here's the tap, and again, Kemp gets it on the way up.
Eaton stole that one just like Shawn stole the first one. Fortunately, they allowed a re-jump for the one Shawn stole.
And this time, the Sonics will get possession to begin play here tonight.
Sonics and the Jazz, of course, split during the course of the regular season at 2-2, with the Sonics winning here March 19th in dramatic fashion over the Utah Jazz. Gary Payton flips over to McKee, left sideline, checked by Benoit, center of the lane. Kemp squares, 10-footer, got it. Sean Kemp firing over Malone with a quick swivel and a pitch from 10.
Kevin, good spacing by the Sonics, something that was lacking in games 2 and 3, allowed Sean Kemp to free himself without a lot of other white shirts in the area.
Again, the Sonics will muscle John Stockton. They throw a look at a double team at him. He'll give it off to Jeff Malone, down low to the big Malone, double team. Carl out on top to Stockton, picks up the dribble over to Carl. He'll load up and fire and miss. Rebound deflected by Eaton and tipped out to John Stockton. Stockton shuffles his feet out around the three-point line, works his way cautiously up to the far side, down to Carl Malone, has a step on Kemp, missed the shot, but there was Eaton to snap the hat shut. He tapped it in. We're tied at 2-2. Back comes Payton, pushes it into the lane, stepped by Eaton, arcs a high banker on the way, won't go from 2. Benoit shovels the rebound ahead of Stockton, swivels ahead left to right, turns the corner on Kemp. Kemp rejects the shot. Malone had it, tapped it. Kemp had it, tapped it out of bounds. Utah basketball.
This is the pace the Sonics want. Gary missed a shot, but it's exactly what George Karl wants from him. That is, keep pushing and pushing.
2-2 the count, 10:59 to go in the first. Karl Malone will swing it and bounce beneath the basket. Benoit tries to set up, but is fouled once he got the ball by Ricky Pierce. That is a play that was used late in the third quarter by Benoit to get a key basket on the inbound.
For an easy layup, that time the Sonics had a better scout on defense, but Ricky got there just a split second late.
Benoit will bring it in bounds and Stockton will handle it. Off the ball, Karl Malone will pick down. Eaton breaks open on the low post, and he turns and jams it down with the left hand.
That's an adjustment by the Jazz. The Sonics have been leaving Mark Eaton open, and he made him pay that time. Great pass by Stockton.
Perkins hurries a shot outside. His flip off the mark. Rebound corralled by Karl Malone. He'll bring it across and hand off to Stockton. John Stockton operating outside with the Jazz on top 4-2. Here's a skip pass on the wing to Benoit. Down low to Eaton. Perkins rotates to Eaton. He'll hand off to Jeff Malone. He'll sky straight up in the air with a J. Miss it. Rebound covered by Kemp. The outlet pass to midcourt. Here to McKee. Wants to run. Down the wing he comes on Benoit. Shovels his feet. Slides to the inline. Covered by Eaton. Hands off to Perkins on the baseline. Sam will bring it outside. And again, the Jazz turn the Sonics away. Force him into the half court. Pierce fakes left. Goes right into Eaton. Contact made. Eaton with a foul.
Kevin, I love the fact that the Sonics are attacking the goal. A great strong drive by Ricky Pierce to his right hand. Eaton didn't get there soon enough. Ricky took it right through him.
4-2 the count, and Ricky Pierce will head to the line with 10:08 to go here in the first. Ricky Pierce in the 3 games, averaging the 11 points, 5 assists. Free throw up and in. Ricky Pierce, number 6 during the course of the regular season, 88% in field goal percentage among the NBA leaders, number 30 in the NBA in scoring, at 18 a game.
Ricky hit the 2 clutch jumpers late in game 3 to keep the Sonics within a prayer of winning the game.
Pierce hits both free throws to tie it at 4-all, 10:05 left in the first quarter of play. Stockton freewheels across midcourt, Payton backpedaling, now joined by Perkins on the double team. They rotate it to Jeff Malone, hippity hop. Hesitation dribble off the Eaton pick. He'll leap out of the corner with a jumper that rolls off the front side. Grabbed by Kemp. Out ahead of Payton off the dribble. Skip it ahead of McKee. From 15 won't take it. Back to Gary trailing from 17. He will. Long rebound. Corralled around the key by Stockton. Busts out of backcourt. He'll pull up on the move. Goes straight up and sticking down. From 15 on the angle right side. Jazz lead at 6-4. 9:34 to go in the first.
Sonics will need to hit some of those jumpers on the second pass, but the fact that they're getting the basket, it's a great sign. That's another great sign. Sean Kemp getting inside on the offensive glass.
It's set up by a Pierce slanting drive in traffic with the left hand. It just rolled off and Kemp with the right hand flipped it home. Sonics have tied the Jazz at 6-6. Jeff Malone outside, pressured by Perkins. 15 on the shot clock to Malone. High post, Stockton will cut. Skip it over to Eaton and he jams it down. Eaton has 6 points and the Jazz lead at 8-6. Back on the Sonics. Pierce with it off the dribble. Double teamed over to Gary. Open Jake.
Yes. Big shot for Gary. He made his first shot in the last game and then missed his last 10. That gives him a little confidence. And again, what I like, after the made basket by the Jazz, a quick outlet pass and a semi-break.
Nice pass by Pierce as he was doubled on by Stockton. And they will concede the open jumper apparently to Payton early. It was key that he got that one. 10 on the shot clock. Down low Malone. Turns, off balance, leans in, flips it up with the right hand from the left side, and the mailman is in the scoring act. Seattle will bring it back, trailing by 2. The key right side, drop step, spin up with the left hand over Eaton. He got it. What a beauty.
Early offense once again, but that time Eaton had time to come over. Derek just went up and over big number 53.
Quick drop spin. Man, he used up a lot of real estate with that one long right-footed stride. Jeff Malone over to Benoit beyond the three-point line. Double team. Back to Malone. His cast to Softy from 15. No. Takes a hard kick off the back brace. Gathered in by Kemp. Hesitantly to midcourt. The pass to Payton. Tapped away. Stockton with it. Went off the knee of Payton. Grabbed by Stockton. Kemp with a sloppy handoff. Stockton cross court. Karl Malone with a jumper. No. Grabbed by Pierce. He'll break across midcourt. Jazz fill the lane. Pierce in the flow. Hook pass over to Kemp. Squares on Eaton. Flips it up. Missed it. Rebound. Perkins. Did he come over the top of Stockton? He did. Loose ball foul on Perkins.
Sonics getting good looks in their early offensive transition. Here's a good shot by Sean within his range. Sam has to push away to get inside for that position.
You mentioned it last night, Wally. When the Sonics get the defensive glass, it's got to be a solid outlet pass.
Yeah, they had problems early in the game. Sean had 2 of those kind of turnovers in the game when they were playing well. You don't notice them in that period of time until after the game if you come up short.
Stockton on the penetration, looking to Eaton, threw it away. Sonics bring it the other way, and Pierce hands off to Perkins, who from the angle drills the jump shot.
Sonics just a much better shooting club when they have a little movement and they're stepping into the shots.
Stockton seems to be emphasizing Eaton in the offense early. Outside it goes to Benoit, races for 3, off the mark, rebound, tipped into the air, who's going to get it? Derek McKee comes down with it. After Malone and Kemp deflected, McKee on the break. Crossover dribble, tried to work his way by Stockton, off the handle, grabbed by Benoit, slings it over to Jeff Malone into the paint, he'll lean in and rim it in. Jeff Malone with his first deuce, and we're tied at 12-12.
But right now we've got a great pace in this basketball game. If it continues on this kind of pace, it's to the Sonics' advantage.
Although the Jazz are a good running basketball team, and they figure to go small by the end of this ball game. Right now, Mark Eaton has not been a detractor from his own team's effort. He's piled in 6 points. Stockton creating things for him. Payton over to Pierce. Pops out off a Kemp pick, runs to the head of the key with a left-hand dribble. The Sonics in the half court with 7 on the shot clock. Pierce jab, steps, 18-footer, nothing but bottom of the net for Ricky Pierce as he rips it home. Seattle by a deuce.
That was a tough shot. Jeff Malone had good defensive position. Ricky just raised on him.
Here's 1 of 2 from the field. The Sonics in the early going, 6 of 11, 6 of 14 of the Jazz. Stockton again, the dribble drive inside through the defense. Tried to feed to Eaton, intercepted by Kemp. The outlet pass to midcourt to Pierce. Here he comes to the left-hand dribble, and Jeff Malone stops, leads off balance, baseline, forced it up, missed it. Rebound to Eaton. Outlet pass to John Stockton. Karl Malone running on his left, Benoit on his right. He'll stop. Sonics give him some leeway. Thought about it. Nope. Over to Malone. Jeff Myers misses. Rebound. Position held by Payton, and the tip out controlled by Gary.
Sonics doing the job in the defensive glass, unlike the last ball game.
Payton over to Pierce now. Down low, it comes to Perkins. He'll heave the left-hander up there, no. Followed by McKee off the mark, but a loose ball foul called on the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone. 14-12 the count. Break on the floor. 5:51 left in the first. Back in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Fans that have not renewed your Sonic season tickets for next year, there's still time if you're interested in becoming a Sonic season ticket holder or mini package buyer. Call the Sonics office at 283-DUNK. Don't miss any of next season's exciting NBA action. And hopefully the Sonics can continue to roll here. They lead by 2, Wally.
Kevin, they called that a loose ball foul against Karl Malone, but Derek McKee was shooting that basketball. He should be at the free throw line right now.
Sonics bring it in. Here's Perkins. He was tripped up as he went into the lane. He was off balance when he got off that left-hander, and there is no call. A whistle with the ball deflected out of bounds by Eaton on the block.
Well, that is ludicrous. Eddie F. Rush just swallowed his whistle on that one. That's an obvious goaltend.
12 on the shot clock, 5:38 remaining in the first period. Seattle by 2. McKee on the inbounds, dances into the key, feeds over to Perkins, raises for 3, in and out. Karl Malone the rebound. Out to Stockton, releases across midcourt. He is triple teamed. All 5 Sonics blasting back into the lane to fill it. And he has to curl outside and hand to Jeff Malone. Good response by the Sonics, Wally, to get down the floor. Now a man is knocked down and a foul off the ball. Payton drilling Stockton. And a foul called on Gary as the 2 collide, and Gary sends Stockton to the deck.
Stockton, so good at that acting job. Gary barely touches him. Right here you see Big Sam take it down the basket. This ball clearly on its way down. Benoit right in front of the basket. Slaps it out of bounds.
14-12 the count. The Sonics lead. That is the 13th foul on Seattle. Jeff Malone is double teamed. Steps between the double team. Loops it outside here to Stockton. Stockton right-hand side of the key over to Karl Malone. Turnaround jump shot. A hastened shot because Kemp was in his face. He missed it. Kemp will clear it to Payton. Over to Ricky Pierce out on the far side. gets a solid pick from Kemp. Kemp rolls. Pierce will pop. He'll hit. Ricky Pierce with a half dozen for the ball game. He's hit 2 out of 4. Sonics lead it by 4, 16-12, and Jerry Sloan will summon Jay Humphries off the bench in a moment. 4:42 left in the first, down low. Lob past Benoit. Turns, hovers into the air. Kemp comes over, deflects it down with fingertip control into the hands of Perkins.
Sensational help to come off Karl Malone and come over and get a hand on that basketball.
McKee out on the wing, working on Benoit, takes him to the baseline, races in. He is pushed by David Benoit. The foul on Benoit is the 3rd team foul on the Jazz. The Malones, Jeff and Carl, 2 for 10 from the field here in the early going. Stockton checks out, and Jay Humphries will come in. Humphries, of course, the veteran, 6'3", in his 10th year out of Colorado.
Sonics with his good player and ball movement are occupying all the Jazz defenders.
McKee double team, curls, pivots, swings it over to Perkins out of the corner. He'll flip with that wrist, and he drilled it from 18 right side. Sam I am with a couple of jump shots. 4:09 to go in the first, and the Sonics on top by 6. Here comes Humphries, quarter court left, shadowed by Gary Payton. Out high, Karl Malone on the ball side, waits for it. He'll go high post immediately, draw double team pressure. Perkins and Kemp trap it. He'll kick out of it to Humphries with 7 on the shot clock. Humphries beyond the 3-point ring. Crossover dribble, right to left, off the Malone pick. Malone will pivot. He'll get the ball and fire and miss. Rebound deflected outside. Controlled in the scamper by Payton. He'll sprint across midcourt, right up into the lane. Stop from 15. He'll hover and fire. That was either deflected or he had the elbow taken off the shot. It came up an air ball. Benoit will clear it to Humphries. He'll bring it across midcourt. Get a play from Jerry Sloan. Seattle by 6.
Kevin, the shot missed badly, but I still like the strategy. Sonics got to keep taking it, run the risk of forcing some turnovers and some missed shots to get the early offense going.
Malone misses out of the corner. He's 1 for 7, and again, the Sonics clear the rebound. They have 11 to the Jazz 8 here in the early going. Pierce over to Kemp. Kemp brings it down on the floor, drives by him into the lane, sets his feet. He hovers and scoops and scores. Sean Kemp with a half dozen. Sonics out of the block cleanly, smoothly, aggressively, leading by 8. And a Jazz timeout with 3:06 left in the first on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Sonics basketball brought to you by the new Subaru Impreza. What to drive.
In this morning's shoot-around, George Karl really emphasized spacing on offense, and it's good spacing by the Sonic players that gave Sean Kemp some room to operate and use his quickness against big Mark Eaton.
20-12, the Sonics on top by 8 on the strength of 9 of 19, 47% shooting. The Jazz 6 of 19, 32%. Karl Malone is 1 of 7. The Sonics have outboarded the Jazz 11-8 with Kemp controlling the glass to the tune of 5 rebounds. McMillan now in for the Sonics along with Eddie Johnson. Ricky Pierce and Perkins. Kemp stay on the floor. Karl Malone down low. Twists quickly and lays it up and in.
Sonics got turned around on the switch inside, allowed Malone to flash open to the basketball. Nice pass by Humphries.
2:41 left in the first. Sonics by 6. McMillan chest passes to Johnson. Cuts into the lane. Out to Mack. 18-footer. Off the mark. Rebound. Tip jab by Kemp. Won't go. Kemp comes down with the ball and rolls off a shoot top of Karl Malone and out of bounds. Hustling play by Kemp, and Seattle rewarded with a basket and a fresh 24 on the shot clock.
Look at this play. Sean with full extension of that right arm. We talked earlier about Sean being key in his offense by getting the offensive glass and open up the rest of the game for him inside. He's done a very good job of that thus far in his ball game.
Benoit will come out. In will come Tyrone Corbin, specifically to rebound at this point of the ball game. He's a great utility man, one of the best in the NBA, in my opinion, in Tyrone Corbin. 12 points, 9 rebounds in the Jazz victory 2 nights ago. Cage is in for the Sonics as well.
Yeah, Corbin much stronger physically than Benoit.
Seattle with plenty of time on the shot clock. 20 showing. Pierce double team, skips it over to McMillan. Look for the open man. Spins into the lane. Corbin reaches here. Taps it away, and a foul called. Foul on Corbin. It is his first. And it will put the Jazz either at the limit or over it.
When the Jazz double team in the wing, the Sonics will try to get somebody to the middle of the floor. Sean Kemp does a nice job of showing himself there and gets a pass and picks up a foul in the process.
4th team foul, a non-shooter. The Sonics bring it in. 21 on the shot clock. McMillan to Johnson. He'll raise, fire, and hit. Eddie Johnson off the bench. Drills a beauty on the feed from Mack. 22-14 the count.
Does it seem like forever ago when the Sonics hit a couple of jump shots in a row? The shooters have it going here early.
2:07 left in the first, and they're getting to the basket and finishing. Here's Corbin outside of the key. Nice pass. Michael swivels, fires, hits. He's fouled. Count the basket. The jump hook off the window. Good for the big brown bear. Fouled by Michael Cage, his first.
The Jazz have made a couple nice offensive adjustments to get the Sonic double team. They've been slipping one of their big men inside and getting a pass much more quickly to them than they have earlier in this series.
Michael Brown, 6'9", 260. George Washington, class of '85, played in Italy. Drafted by the Bulls, played there a couple of years, and came over in a trade for Kelly Tripucka. Remember him? Sure you do.
I played against Kelly.
22-17 the count. Johnson raises with a three, in and out. Rebound tumbles off into the hands of Jeff Malone. A minute 45 left in the first. Seattle by 5. Humphries will slow it across midcourt. And they'll spread the floor. Karl Malone on the block. Jeff Malone trying to come off the pick, knocked down, apparently tripped up by Askew. No whistle. They'll flip it to Karl Malone. Double teamed out to Corbin. Open Jay. He'll hit that every time. Corbin with a great touch, looked very relaxed. 3-point Sonic lead. Jazz with 5 unanswered points. Here's Kemp down low, working on Brown. Dribbles out of a double team, stops, leans, turns, hovers in the air, and knocks down a double pump follow-away Jay.
Yeah, excellent patience by Sean. He waited to see if the double team was coming. When he saw he just had one man on him, he took him to the baseline.
Yeah, with 8 points, 4 of 6 shooting, and 6 boards. He's played well early, and the Sonics lead by 5. Corbin pops out, so does Brown. Brown gets it beyond the ring. One-on-one, Karl Malone down low, working on Cage as he gets it. Turns 15 feet from the hole, double team, double to Jeff Malone, up fakes, leads by Johnson. Hill knocked one down. Jeff Malone with a big-time up fake. Threw Eddie in the air. 24-21, Sonics by 3, 45 seconds remaining in the first period. Vincent Askew creeps down the side, comes off a Cage pick. Karl Malone pops out, so does Jeff. Askew angles by Jeff Malone. He knocks down a beauty as he turns the corner left side, banks it up and in.
He is so good, that one-legged shot going to his left hand. Seems to get good balance and good power going that way.
5-point Sonic lead, 29 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Jay Humphries outside. Started his career at Phoenix with a crossover dribble, works his way down the left side, sprints off a Karl Malone pick. Malone will roll, he'll get it, double teamed and fouled by McMillan on the reach-in. This will send the mailman to the free throw line on the first foul of the night to Nate McMillan.
Just a pick and roll. Malone seals off. Nate gets there a little too late and has to reach in. Gets a hand on Karl's wrist.
Sonics going to the bench early in this ball game. Michael Cage, Vincent Askew, Eddie Johnson, Nate McMillan stepping in. Kemp staying on the floor. Karl Malone to the line. Malone behind Jordan and Wilkins.
Kevin, I think what George Karl is seeing is the pace of this game has been a quick one. He wants to get his bench in and involved because that's an advantage to the Sonics, particularly in a quick-paced game where fatigue becomes more of a factor.
Yeah, when you're in a must-win situation, you've got to look for the hot hand. If a guy's not clicking, you yank him, you put somebody else in that might have it. Malone splits the pair, 5 for Karl, but his field goal shooting 2 of 8. That has allowed the Sonics to sneak in to a 4-point lead. 13 seconds remaining in the first. Nate McMillan working the spread floor on Jay Humphries. Takes it right side, puts his back, spins down, double teamed out to Askew. 5 on the shot clock, 4. Vince left side, kick out to Kemp. He'll get it with 1. He'll float it up. Got it!
Oh, yeah.
He got it with 0.2 of a second remaining. Karl Malone up the floor to Brown. Threw it out of bounds, and the Sonics will take it with 0.2 of a second remaining. Down on their end of the floor beneath the basket, leading by 6, 28-22.
This has to be a touch play. Just throw it up there for a lob, trying to get something going to the basket. You obviously think it's going to be Sean Kemp they're going to look for.
Nate McMillan will bring it in bounds. Cage is on the ball side of the baseline. Kemp out around the free throw line on the ball side. Askew and Johnson off the ball. Now they cut. Johnson will get it. He'll feather it up, and it falls short. It's got to be a tip. He just sort of handled it and shot it, but it was the best crack he could. And the Sonics leading by 6 at the end of 1. Back in a moment on the Sonic Broadcasting Network. All Sonic broadcast provided by Cellophane Square with locations in Seattle, Bellevue, and Bellingham.
Sean Kemp shooting the ball very well, 5 for 7 the first quarter, but more importantly, he has the 6 rebounds.
And had a big stroke with 0.2 of a second, ending the first quarter of play with the Sonics on top by 6. They shot 13 of 26, 50%, and outboarded the Jazz 12-9. Jazz 43%, 10 of 23. Stockton back in. Nice dribble along the baseline, double team, works his way for a right-handed sweeping reverse up and in. Stockton with 4 for the game, 28-24. The Jazz draw first blood here of the second period. McMillan, Askew, Kemp, Johnson, and Cage on for Seattle.
Stockton has not looked at the basket that much this series. Just had the 2 field goals in the last ball game. He's been much more aggressive for his own shots here so far tonight.
Askew down on the blocks left side, turns in the lane. Karl Malone slaps it out of bounds, but deflected then on a reach, and apparently by Sonic and out. It will be Utah basketball. Well, Seattle definitely getting into the half court that time with Askew on the low block and 3 players around him. Here's Corbin out high. Nice drop his spin inside to Karl Malone. His shot sent off balance by Cage and Kemp. Might have been deflected by Cage. The Sonics will take it at any rate. Askew to Johnson, raises for a three, and he drilled it. Eddie Johnson knocks down a three-point bomb, and the Sonics lead by 7, 31-24.
Eddie twice tonight just sets up in the right-hand corner, and again, out of early offense, gets a little crack and gets it in the hoop.
10:50 left here in the second period. Humphries on the right side. Michael Brown clears out right wing. That opens up this place on the low block. The mailman, but Brown takes it head of the key and rumbles straight down into the lane and lays it up and in.
Jazz are much more crisp with their pass, attacking the double team. You see Stockton with two green shirts around him. Michael Brown, the big brown bear, rumbles down the lane, wide open, coming out of the double team on Stockton.
Mike Brown, 220.
Brown was a forensics major in college. He wants to be an FBI agent, apparently.
Of course, George Washington University just down the street from the FBI.
He's got that J. Edgar Hoover look about him as he hits the free throw, very stern.
He doesn't have a dress on.
31-20. Johnson leans in, off-balance shot off the mark. Comes up short, eating the rebound, clears the long pass up to Humphries on the drive, he blew it! Rebound to Vincent Askew. Oh, what a break there. Seattle 31, Jazz 27. 10:19 to go in the second. Askew right side, cuts him in the left hand. Tried to dribble, you can put the ball on the floor against Stockton unless you can handle it like a magician. And he did. And a foul called? No, jump ball. Now Askew and Brown have some words. A little pushing and shoving and jawing going on.
Humphries came over and said something to Vincent when he was on the floor. I don't know what it was all about. And then Vincent said something back, and then you got a little shoving going on.
And a jump ball called. It'll be Mike Brown, 6'9", against Vincent Askew. 31-27 to score. Here's the tap. Askew hovers into the air, tips it over to Perkins. Sonics work it out with a fresh 24 on the shot clock. McMillan, left-hand side of the key, covered by Michael Brown. Johnson will jump out to get the ball, feeds it low to Perkins, backs in. Eaton jabs at it, pokes it away. Perkins will get it, double team. Try to feed it outside, deflected right to Askew. 10 on the shot clock. 18-footer to pull the trigger on it, miss it. Rebound, Michael Brown. Brown dribbles to midcourt. He wants to run. He'll take it left side into the guard of McMillan, skipping back outside to John Stockton. 4-point Sonic lead, 9:45 to go in the second. I wonder how long Jordan will go with this lineup he has on the floor right now. Brown turns left side, feathers one up, got it, will not count. Fouled on the floor. Foul is on Vincent Askew, and a timeout called on the floor. The foul on Askew before the shot. 9:39 left in the second to score. Seattle 31, Jazz 27 on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Distance play brought to you by AT&T, a proud sponsor of the NBA and the Sonics.
Eddie Johnson just spotting up in the corner. That quick release. Very tough to get to for the defender to get there in time.
Sonics will bring the same lineup back out with 9:33 left here in the second. Leading by 4. Stockton low to Brown. Turns in the lane. Cage slaps it away. McMillan down there with Cage. Working on Brown. Finds an opening. Out to Humphries. Opens up or got it. Jay Humphries drills it down. Now the Sonics will bring it up. And will try to execute in the half court. Askew sets a pick. McMillan rolls off the screen. Askew now will pick down. McMillan roll to the basket. Power to the glass. Flip it up over Eaton. It won't go. Mark Eaton with a rebound. Out to Stockton. He'll pull up right side under the guard of McMillan. 2-point Sonic lead. 9 minutes remaining in the second. Stockton, left-hand dribble. Left-hand side. Forecourt, looking low. Skips a low pass. Humphries will gather it in turn. Corkscrews into the ears. Follow-away jumper off the mark. Perkins will clear it to midcourt. Eddie Johnson takes over. Comes off a Cage screen. Stops. 18-footer over Eaton. Yes. Eddie Johnson rains it down, Wally.
A key to the Sonic half-court offense is setting the good, solid screen. Michael Cage really laid the wood on the Jazz that time.
Sonics by 4. 8.5 minutes remaining in the second. Here's Humphries. Corner court right. Brown picks down for Stockton. He pops out. Now Brown down low, trying to clear a space. Cage trying to fight over the top of the pick. Brown comes out, sets a screen to McMillan. Humphries rolls off of it. Kick out to Corbin. Long J won't go. Rebound grab by Cage. Loose ball foul. Michael came over the top. Right now, the Jazz, the better team at that drive and kick.
Yeah, the Sonics did a nice job defensively in that time, except Mark Eaton was able to sneak inside of Michael Cage, something that very rarely happens. Michael usually with a good rebounding position.
13 foul on the Sonics. 33-29 is our score. The Sonics by 4. They've led by as many as 8. That was back in the first period when they shot 13 of 26, 50%. Corbin and Stockton exchange passes. But a man down low, Mike Brown. A little too overzealous down there as he backs in, trying to clear some room. Offensive foul on Brown. The Bear picks up his first. The Sonics lead by 4. And here's McKee in the lineup now for Seattle. He'll handle it out around the left-hand side. And now it comes off of Perkins' pick and works the right side. Covered by Corbin. He'll feather it low to Perkins. Sam back to the basket, working on Brown. Steps between a double team. Flips it up neatly over Eaton. Nothing but net for Perk.
Tough shot. Not only did he step through the double team, but Eaton came over to help. He beat 3 Jazz defenders.
And the Sonics have a 6-point lead. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Glad you're with us. The Sonics in a must-win situation. Stockton looking for the two-man play, looking to go to Brown. Now will blast to the inline. Pulls on the brakes. Double team out to Brown. He'll rumble into the lane. Swings up the hook. He got it from 5. Brown with 8. Man, is he playing great ball right now. He's been the difference in the second period. Seattle by 4. He's given Karl Malone a breather. Malone did not shoot well in the first quarter. 2 for 8. McMillan off the first. Sam, he'll jam it down with the left hand. Southpaw roll to the hole. Sam I.M. with the left-handed smash, and the Sonics by 6.
Sam got himself open for the good pass from Nate because, again, he set a good solid screen in the two-man game.
6:53 left in the second period. Stockton posts low. Humphries with the ball on the near side. Watches as Stockton clears out. Now will pop out of the key to get the jumper. He'll fire a 3. Oh! Oh, that's got to hurt. Nothing but bottom. Bingo! Stockton with 7. And the Jazz trail by 3. 6.5 minutes remaining in the second period. McKee comes off the cage screen, looking for McMillan. Johnson down low in a battle with Humphries for that low block. Humphries really leaning on him, battling. Look at him battle down low. Johnson tosses Humphries aside on a foul called. This will be on Jay Humphries.
Of course, Eddie playing a big guard with a big height advantage against Jay Humphries. They're trying to post him down low. Humphries trying to get position, reach around that off arm. Acting job attempted. Caught by the officials. First team foul on the Jazz with 6.5 minutes remaining in the half. Sonics lead at 37-34 on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 34 our score, 6:24 left in the second. Perkins getting that low block jump shot and actually slammed. High percentage shot, nice move. Simple two-man game, pick and roll. Nate came off, drew 2 defenders, and beautiful pass inside to Sam.
6:24 left here in the second period. Sean Kemp with 10.6 boards in the first quarter on 5 of 7 shooting. He is still resting on the bench. Perkins doing a nice job inside. Here's a cross-court pass to McKee. Deflected by Corbin, and the second team foul on the Jazz as Corbin bumped him.
And the
second on Corbin.
Exactly.
Jazz on a 10-6 run in the last 4.5 minutes of play. Seattle to bring it in bounds. Sonics have scored 11 points here in the quarter. 6:14 left. McMillan fires over to Johnson. Hard cut off the Perkins pick. Give it to Sam. Snares the pass with the right hand. Works down to Malone. Outside to Johnson. Raises with 14 on the shot clock. Rebound deflected away from Malone by Cage. Sent Malone to the deck. But Eaton grabs it and sends it ahead to Stockton. 14 on the shot clock. Maybe an extra pass needed, Wally, on the Sonic offense.
Yeah, but Eddie's in rhythm, and you want Eddie to take that shot whenever he comes into his rhythm on the shot.
Karl Malone, boy, is he knocked down, and a technical foul called on Eddie Johnson. That's not the play you want. Eddie reaches in as Malone makes his drive. You watch it home on radio, we'll describe it to you. He was double-teamed by McMillan and Cage. Johnson leans in with a left hand, grabs him around the left arm and hauls him down while in the act of shooting. Technical foul on Johnson.
Yeah, at that point, the mailman obviously could not make that shot from that position on the floor. So the little extra nudge by Eddie is unnecessary.
Stockton to the line, hits the free throw. The technical free throw is good. The crowd is fired up. The Sonics lead is 2, and Karl Malone, a 74% free throw shooter, heads to the line with a chance to tie this ball game. Substitutions now. The Sonics bring Kemp in, along with Pierce. McKee and Perkins, and McMillan will stay on the deck. Karl Malone to the free throw line. He missed it.
Malone has really looked uncomfortable from the free throw line throughout this series. Even the ones he's gotten down, he's been cringing, using the body English to try to get him into the hoop.
Seattle has got to take advantage of the Jazz while this man is 2 for 9 and not shooting well. But you know, come fourth quarter, he's either going to go to the line or find a way to get open inside. Malone splits the pair on the second to pull the Jazz to within 1, 37-36, 5:45 left in the second. McMillan starts a move on Stockton. Left the ball behind to go back to get it. He'll work the near edge in front of his own bench. Comes off a McKee pick. Slide it across the key to Ricky. He'll raise and fire and miss. Rebound. Perkins takes it with one hand. He was tripped up, stumbling outside when Humphries hammered him, spun him around. But the foul on the trip will be called on the Brown Bear, Michael Brown, with his second.
Fantastic effort by Sam Perkins. Just getting the big left mid on this one, keeping control even after he gets the bump.
McMillan now will come out and Gary Payton will check in, and the Sonic starters are back in the fray to a man. Humphries will come out, and in will come Jeff Malone. Seattle's lead is 1 with 5:29 left here in the second period. Derek McKee will swing it in bounds. He'll get it back from Kemp. Comes off from Perkins, pick out high, hands to Ricky. Pierce off the Perkins screen. Works Jeff Malone left side over to McKee. McKee raises from the corner. He'll bomb away, and he drilled it. He was standing on the three-point line. A two-pointer for McKee to put the Sonics on top by 3. 39-36. 5:09 left in the second. McKee 2 for 2 here in the early going. Pursued to Stockton, a double team. Fling it cross court to Jeff Malone. Out on top to Corbin. Over to Carmelone. Open left side, 15 feet on the ankle. Fires over Kemp. No go. Long rebound. Sprinting over to it, Jeff Malone. He'll bring it outside, and the Jazz will rack it up again. Stockton double team. Deflected pass. Got through to Brown in traffic. He'll lay it up. Won't go. Got his rebound. Muscle back up in reverse. Won't go. Deflected high in the air. Pierce deflects it to the corner. Saves it up the floor to Perkins. Centers it to Gary Payton. Gary Payton out to McKee trailing. Spots up for 3. Hesitates. Had a notion. Won't take it. Flip it into the corner to Perk. 14 on the shot clock. Perkins bumped by Brown, and they call a walk.
Now Sam took a chance. He was losing his balance. He just chose to go out of bounds and try to draw a foul on Mike Brown. But playoff basketball, you're not going to get that call much of the time.
3-point Sonic lead. 4:22 left in the second. Stockton comes off the Carmelone screen. Again pursued and double teamed by Perkins and Payton. They trap him, center it to Malone. 15-footer with the key in his face. He missed it.
He's nowhere.
Deflected. Gary Payton grabs it.
Malone is nowhere close to his jumper.
Malone 2 for 11, and the Sonics blow another opportunity. Up the floor it went to Perkins, forecourt right. The pass was underthrown. Pierce was there. It went between him and out of bounds. Sonics' 5th turnover of the ball game. Karl Malone 2 for 11 shooting. And the Sonics leading by 3 with 3:59 left in the first half. Jeff Malone outside, sways right, goes left. Leans back, in he comes with a jumper, missed it, rebound Perkins. Perkins skips it out to Payton, and again the Sonics have numbers, dribbling up the floor. Pierce with a 3, got it! Ricky Pierce with a 3-ball corner pocket. Nothing but corn. Sonics lead it by 6.
Once again, Kevin, the early offense gets him a much better look at the hoop. Sean Kemp was open inside on that one as well.
Seattle 19 of 37, 51%. Stockton into the lane, stumbles, double teamed outside to Jeff Malone. Covered by McKee. Jeff feeds low to Carl, double team. Out to Stockton, over to Malone, off the angle, leans in, jumper, go away, he got it. Jeff Malone with a half dozen. 42-38. Gives Stockton the assist on the play, his 6th. Pierce left side, backs in, double team. He'll float it outside to Derek McKee. He'll retreat beyond the three-point line. Fire over Corbin. His 3 just swirled and came out. Into the hands of Jeff Malone. Stockton will bring it across midcourt. Stockton with the arm cocked as he dribbles up the floor. We're giving defensive players just a hint that he might throw that laser pass. Now feed it to Corbin in the corner. Ty nearly forced out of bounds by Perkins. Saves it to Stockton, down to Carl. He'll curl, lay it up and in on the hook. He's fouled, he'll go to the line.
Just outstanding execution by the Jazz. They just go to the triangle play. Stockton at the top, a wing player. Just letting Malone work inside till he gets position. And a beautiful pass inside by the best assist man in the league.
42-40, Sonics by 2 with 2:43 left in the second here on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Special, the hidden job market for teens, originally scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight, will be seen immediately following the game at approximately 8:30 p.m. So stay tuned. Along with Wally Walker, Kevin Calabro at the Delta Center, along with Big Smooth, Sam Perkins, and Karl Malone. Malone 3 of 12 from the field, 8 points, 2 of 4 from the line. And the mailman, with 2:43 left in the second, can get the Jazz within 1, and he does. Karl Malone with 9.
Good news is, though, Kevin, that was Sean Kemp's first foul. He's played a very controlled game at both ends of the floor.
Off the ball, mayhem. Offensive foul on the Sonics. Stockton falls. Trying to set the pick was Kemp on the foul on Sean.
Stockton very clever about getting in front of offensive players to draw that play.
42-41. Jazz by 1. 2:26 left in the second period. And the Jazz have a chance to take the lead. Stockton skips it over to Jeff Malone. Looking low for Karl Malone. Fronted by Perkins on the low block. Double teamed as McKee drops down. Jeff Malone out high on the right. Off the ball, a whistle. Foul called. Nope, 3 in the key on Karl Malone. Perkins did an outstanding job to stay in front of Malone that time.
And great ball pressure by Derek McKee made it a very difficult look for Jeff Malone inside.
Now you can't front Malone all the time because Stockton will absolutely make you pay with that great lob pass of his. But if you mix up the defense, you sometimes can confuse them. McKee feeds left block to Kemp. He turns, arcs a high one in the air with the right hand, missed it. Perkins clears the rebound outside as Karl Malone goes to the floor. Perkins left alone, fires the shot, won't go. Malone comes up off the floor, grabs the rebound, and picks up a foul. The second on Sam Perkins.
When Sam knows his jump shot off, he follows it almost every time the basket. This time gets there a little late and then reaches in out of frustration. Picks up foul number 2.
Sonics over the limit, and the Jazz shooting free throws from here on out with a minute 50 left in the second period. The Jazz looking for their first opportunity to lead here in the second period. They trailed by as many as 8 in the first quarter. The Sonics got off to a 13 for 26, 50% shooting night in the first and led at the end of one, 28-22. Karl Malone steadies, readies, pops and hits. Malone with 10.
The last few minutes have been much more like the second halves have been the last 2 ball games, Kevin, where they're setting up and running half-court offenses. Both teams are.
Well, Kemp, 21 minutes into the game, got his first foul, and about 15 seconds later got his second. Karl Malone to the line. Jazz lead. Malone with 11. 43-42, a minute 48 remaining in the first half. Gary Payton calls the play from half court. Payton is covered by Stockton, comes out for McKee, picks, slides down the left side, back to the basket. McKee again will curl and pick for Payton. He'll gallop into the lane, arcs a high one up, missed it, rebound, Kemp. He'll go up, flush it down with the right hand. Offensive foul call on the Sonics, Derek McKee. They call a grab foul on McKee as they went crashing for the rebound. I tell you what, though, Gary Payton took a lick when he took that ball into the lane with a running right-hander, and George Karl knows it. And he's right now on slow burn. Foul on McKee is first. 43-42, Jazz lead it with a minute 26 remaining in the second period. Kemp comes out, Cage steps in, Malone has it right side over to Jeff Malone, baseline jumper off the mark, rebound gathered in by Ricky Pierce, 2-on-1, Payton on his right, Stockton fills the lane, Pierce stops, pops, ground from behind, deflects it to Malone, up the floor to Stockton. Hustling play by Mike Brown. He has had an impact on this first half with his 8 points and a big defensive play right there. 11 on the shot clock for the Jazz. Stockton yo-yos a dribble, a blast right to left hand, crossover into the lane. He'll flip one up, drew the foul. This will be on Payton his second, and Stockton will go to the line with the Jazz leading by 1.
Stockton just recognized that time they didn't have anything going from their half-court offensive set. So he just took it to the basket off the dribble, trying to create something for himself.
Jazz from the line have hit now a 9 out of 11 as Stockton drops that one in. Seattle is 2 for 2. And the Jazz lead it by 2.
And the Sonics, since early in the game, have not attacked the basket off the dribble nearly as hard, and therefore have not gotten to the free throw line.
Stockton misses the second. Perkins claims the rebound. The Jazz lead it by a deuce. 45 seconds remaining. Outside is McMillan, popping out to get it, Ricky Pierce. He's covered by Jeff Malone, they clear out. Pierce trying to take him right side, slants in, double team, leading, needs help, triple team. Was he fouled, was he bumped? He was, says Steve Javi. Foul is on Jeff Malone, the first on Malone.
The Jazz decided that a double team isn't enough. Mike Brown runs over there to get in the action. Ricky just pivoting around until Jeff Malone reaches in for the foul.
Boy, when you turn your back with a dribble, you allow the defense so many options, don't you, Wally?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. They know you can't see the open players on the floor, so they can gamble at that point.
McMillan over to Pierce, slants in, double team, kick out to Cage for 15. Will they take it? No. Double team, behind the back, pass him to Ricky. He'll raise. Off balance shot, he missed it. Rebound to Malone, 18 seconds remaining to Mike Brown. Crossover behind the back dribble. Hacked away by McMillan, tapped out of bounds. It'll be Utah ball. 44-42, Jazz by 2, 13 seconds remaining. here in the first half, and Utah basketball.
Sonics been stuck in that 42 for a long, long time.
Sonics have scored 14 points here in the period. Here's a pass out to Stockton, deflected by McMillan. He'll gather and go to the glass and lay it up and in. Nate McMillan on a great play.
Huge, huge play by Nate. Change the momentum.
Backcourt will fire it up the floor. It falls short, and indeed it does change the momentum. And it ties this game at 44 all. McMillan with a steal out to the point to Stockton and the drive. And it's a 44-all ball game at half on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. At 44, what do you see out there, Wally?
They got off to a good aggressive offensive start, pushing the ball up, attacking the basket. It settled more in the second half where the offense became more of a half-court set offense. But the concentration and focus are good. They have a good chance in this ball game playing that way.
Seattle shooting 45% for the first half, but 13 of 26, 50% in that first quarter of play. They would love to reproduce the first quarter in the upcoming third period where they scored 28 points in that first quarter. We'll be right back with a 44 all at halftime. Along with Wally Walker, I'm Kevin Calabro, the Delta Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. And here at half, let's review our GTE Power Play, brought to you by GTE, where the power is on.
Great hustle play by Ricky Pierce on the defensive end, was sacrificing his body into the Jazz bench to kick it out. And able to the Sonics get numbers coming back to their offensive end.
We'll be back on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Let's take a look at the first half highlights, brought to you by Seattle Lighting, the choice for quality home lighting products. Is it a time to Seattle Lighting your home? Well, Sean Kemp was huge in that first quarter of play. He had the 10 points and the 6 rebounds.
Did a nice job on the offensive glass. Right here, you're going to see him operating 101 when he has a single team. He recognizes it, under control, turns around with a very nice turnaround jumper.
We mentioned, Wally, one of the big keys to tonight's game was the fact that the Sonics had to push the ball. I thought they did a pretty good job of that in the first quarter, and it paid off. 50% shooting, 28 points. In the second period, that was not the case.
Absolutely. The key for the Sonics in the second half will be some more the push-up like we saw in the first quarter by Gary Payton and Nate McMillan when he's in there. Just getting up in the seams, giving the Sonics a chance to get early offense. You see Gary's going to bury a jumper right here, and it's just when the Jazz defense does not have a chance to set, they're not nearly as good a defensive club as they are at the half court.
Mike Brown has been around the block a few times. He's now in his 8th year. This is his second stint of duty, second club that he's been with, the Utah Jazz, and he was big in the first half, 8 points and 2 boards.
Yeah, the Jazz got 14 points out of the center position. Both Mike Brown and Mark Eaton being effective offensively. They've made an adjustment, do a better job against the Sonic double team, slip the ball inside to their centers.
And their bench, if it's a key, outscored the Sonic bench 12-11. But in a tie game at 44 all, and as tight as this game appears to be, it could make all the difference. Our Seattle Lighting halftime scoreboard, 44 all. Back with our simulcast in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Jazz had 4 blocks, and Eaton had only 1 of those, and they spread it out among 3 other guys. The Sonics, Sean Kemp had 2 blocks. Steals, Sonics 3, Jazz 2. Rebounding 22-19. The Sonics leading the Jazz, and Seattle with 18 defensive rebounds. Shooting 20 of 44, 45%. The Sonics shot 13 of 26, 50% in the first quarter. Jazz 17 of 41, 41%. Free throws, Jazz 9 of 11, Seattle 2 for 2. The Jazz in the second period were 7 of 9 from the field when both teams were 7 of 18 from the field. The Jazz from the line were 7 out of 9. So that was a difference in the second quarter for the Jazz when they outscored Seattle 22-16. Assists 13-9, the Jazz. Turnovers, Sonics 7 for only 2 Utah points, and the Jazz 6 for 6 Sonic points. Scoring, Kemp with 10, Pierce 9, Perkins 8, Eddie Johnson with 7. Kemp with the 2 blocks also has 7 boards. Karl Malone does have 11 points, but on 3 of 12 shooting from the field. Stockton with 9, and Stockton at half with 7 assists. Mike Brown with 8. Eaton and Jeff Malone have combined for a total of 6 points. Well, what do we look for here in this third period of play?
Up-tempo style by the Sonics, and the stat that jumps out at me is the fact that the Jazz have only committed 6 turnovers. The Sonics need to break a few more balls loose to key that running game.
Only 2 steals at halftime for the Supers, actually 3, but they average close to 12 per game, number 1 in the NBA. They also led during the regular season in scoring differential, +7. And we're number 1 in the league at forcing turnovers, nearly 19 per ball game. You're up against John Stockton.
And, of course, they have to attack the basket and put the officials in a position where they're going to have to make some foul calls. Shooting 2 free throws and a half just won't get it done.
44-44 the scores. We head now to the third period of play. John Stockton, who had one frightful car crash 2 days ago, back in the lineup. Outside, covered by Gary Payton. Stockton looking for Malone, coming to the ball side. Pushed off the block by Kemp. Stockton triggers a jumper. Long rebound. Feathered by McKee off his fingertips. Tethered in by Pierce.
That was great defense by Gary to get in the passing lane. Did not allow Stockton to enter to Malone.
Ricky slants it out of McKee over to Payton. Raises from the corner. Drops in a baseline jump shot.
2 great plays to start this half by Gary.
Good quick passing early by the Sonics. Payton out high. Working defensively on Stockton. He'll circle off the Eaton screen, off the Karl Malone pick around the key, feeds over to Jeff Malone. He'll toss it to the big Malone, right-hand side of the arc. Now back to John Stockton, 7 on the shot clock. Pick and roll, look out! Wheelman! Stamps it. 13 for Malone on the right-handed jam.
Great timing on that play by the 2 Olympic team members.
Kemp into the lane. Malone is there, strips him of the ball. Grabbed by Stockton, hesitates into the lane, shovels one up. Perkins is there, rejects the shot out to Payton. He'll come the other way to Kemp, stops, fires over Eaton, his right-hander, stiffly up and in from 5 feet left side.
The reason Sean was down at the offensive end because he got hit in the face. He's still holding it. He took a shot and he never got back on defense. Set him up for an easy jumper on a transition.
Kemp wisely got wide to allow Gary Payton to freewheel. Now here's Stockton. Got around the 3-point perimeter, double team. Slings a cross-court pass over to Benoit, cuts into the key, stops, looks for Eaton, and a jump ball as Kemp ties up Benoit on a hustling play. David Benoit's absence in the first half was felt. Benoit 0 for 3, did not score, had the 2 rebounds.
Of course, he's dangerous. He had a terrible first half Tuesday night and came back with 9 big points in the second half for the Jazz.
Here's the tap. Kemp into the air with a leaper. Benoit deflects it on the second attempt to McKee. Out to Payton on the run to Kemp. He's got an angle. He'll come in with a 2-handed jam and deliver the goods, baby, in a hurry. Kemp with 14. Ooh, man, a 2-handed flush. 50-46 the count. Sonics lead it with 10-11 remaining in the third.
I talked about good Jazz timing. That was great timing by Gary Payton to hit Sean Kemp in stride for the jam.
Seattle running early. They get that jam off the run. Stockton out high, covered by Payton. Stockton looking low. Kemp moving and pushing and trying to clear Malone off the block. Commits his 3rd foul.
Well, there's always going to be contact when Karl Malone's in the play, trying to get position and possession. And the referees have to make that judgment every time.
Well, see if the Sonics switch. They will. Kemp will come out on Eaton, and now Perkins will cover Karl Malone. Malone working the baseline, stacked up with Jeff Malone on the screen. Stockton, meantime, forced double-teamed outside. Eaton rolls to the glass and jams it down.
That was the adjustment we talked about at halftime. When Stockton gets double-teamed out front, Eaton is now slipping inside. That time he's got 2 easy ones, 2 dunks inside.
Just as he did in the first quarter when he scored 6 of his 8. Here's McKee off the Perkins pick. Bullet pass in the corner. Gary will go straight up with a jumper and he drops it down. Another beauty from the corner for Gary Payton. 52-48, Seattle by 4. 9:21 to go in the third. Jeff Malone outside the 3-point ring, covered by McKee. Jeff Malone hates that defense by McKee. He has stifled it. Feeds over to Stockton, hesitates to the baseline. Beneath the cup, feeds outside to Benoit, over to surprised Eaton. 7 on the shot clock. Back to Stockton off the pick. Left side drifting Jay, no go. Malone from behind, grabs it away from Kemp. Sean tried to pick it down with one right-handed, but there was Malone to muscle it away and pry it loose from behind. Jazz have it outside, 15 on the shot clock. Stockton with it. John Stockton looking low. Malone comes to the ball side. Jeff Malone handles it, looking to feed it low to Karl. He does. Karl backs, turns, leans into the glass, does it in. Karl Malone, the mailman, with 15.
Sean Kemp is hurt. Malone came right down on Sean's head after he fouled through on that shot.
He flattened Kemp, and Sean is woozy. Now Gary Payton comes out to midcourt with Eddie F. Rush, and they're in a chest-to-chest shouting match. Tim Gergerich sprints out to separate Gary from the official. Sean Kemp took a hard shot off the shoulder of Malone, and then Malone rolled right over on top of him.
And that's 260 pounds of muscle. There's no give to that body when it comes down on you. That's his 2nd shot in the 3rd quarter. Sean Kemp's taken to the bridge of the nose.
Now watch the right shoulder of Malone. Bang, right there.
I think he got him with the elbow up through the nose, too.
52 to 50 is our score. Now Kemp is livid. He's going after Mike Mathis, and now Perkins and Payton push Sean Kemp all the way over in front of the Sonic bench. 52-50 the score. Sonics by 2. 8.5 minutes remaining in the third. There was no foul called on the play, and I think
Sean's holding his mouth too, and he had a piece of something. I think he might have lost part of a tooth.
Sonics will have to call a full timeout. With 8.5 minutes remaining in the third, a full timeout with the Sonics leading by a deuce on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 8.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Sonics now will send Michael Cage in for Sean Kemp. Sam Perkins on the front line, along with Derek McKee. The guards are Payton and Pierce. Mark Eaton, Carl Malone, David Benoit, John Stockton, Jeff Malone. For Jerry Sloan's Jazz, Seattle by 2. Payton to the inline. A running right-hander won't go. Followed by McKee. He swoops in, leans in with a soft right hand, and directs it up and into the cylinder of the Sonics. Lead it by 4.
Lovely tip by McKee, but set up by the aggressive drive by Gary to get inside and force help defense to come over.
Gary Payton has had some explosive third quarters in this series, and he has come out hitting a couple of jumpers, and that time on a nice drive. Now he crunches Stockton, double team, cross-court pass to Benoit, threw it out of bounds. Out of bounds it goes, and a forced turnover. Triggered by the trap on Stockton.
Sonics need to stay focused here. George Karl takes Sean Kemp out of the game long enough to cool down. Sean had every reason to be angry. When he comes back in, he'll need to sublimate that anger into good play on the basketball court.
54 to 57, 54 to go in the third. Pick and roll, Payton and McKee. McKee forced out wide, will get it on the baseline left side, covered by Benoit down low. Illegal defense whistle on the Jazz. I'll give you one guess.
I'm going to guess the man mountain.
You got it.
Tough for him to sneak around.
He is the third tallest peak in the state of Utah. It's a 54-50 count, 7:42 to go in the third. Payton off a McKee pick, takes it left side. Body bump by Stockton. Now McKee will pick down, roll to the hole. Gary had it jabbed away from Stockton behind. Hook grab by Perkins. Back to Payton to the baseline, covered by Malone outside, and Perkins fires a three, missed it. Rebound McKee.
Oh, yes.
Up and in with the left hand. Oh, where did that come from? Holy mackerel, a windmill left-handed jam by McKee, and Eaton fouls him, will go to the line.
Well, just a little glass hit by Sam Perkins, and it turns into something positive for the Sonics as McKee just grabs it off the floor, cocks it, and puts it right in Mark Eaton's face. Bam.
That was nasty with a capital N. Ooh. 56-50, Sonics by 6, 7:28 to go in the third. McKee's free throw up and in. McKee with 9. Now the Jazz will bring it out of backcourt. Humphries, Stockton, Malone, Eaton, and Corbin. Double team is Humphries. Floated along the far side to Stockton. Back outside to Humphries. Humphries beyond the three-point ring. Challenged by Payton. Will feed to Stockton. They'll pop out together. Stockton feeds low to Karl Malone. Double teamed out to Humphries. Humphries checked by Payton. With 2 on the shot clock. Fires out for a weak bomb over. Payton, an air ball. Grabbed by McKee. Derrick out of backcourt working on Tyrone Corbin. Boy, McKee comes up with a big play. Now hand off to Payton. He'll size up the situation, set the floor. Pierce posted up on Stockton, will take a double teamed out to Gary. Nice jump pass over to McKee, lay it up and in. He's fouled. McKee will go to the line.
Great execution. The Jazz had to double team Ricky Pierce down low because he had Stockton on his back. Nice pass out by Ricky. And Gary had an open jumper, but did the unselfish thing with a beautiful pass he threaded through there to Derrick.
And Gary set him up after hitting those first 2 jump shots that he took to begin the quarter. Everybody was looking for the jump shot. Here's McKee to the line. He rolled it up and in. And the Sonics have their largest lead of the night. With this burst, they lead it by 10. 60 to 50.
Kevin, right here, the Sonics have to avoid the personal duels. No cheap fouls against the Jazz players, particularly Stockton and Malone.
Stockton double team. They'll give it to Humphries. Outside, shadowed by Perkins. Back to Stockton. Cross court. He's double teamed. Now to Humphries. Fires off the 3. Looks good. It is. Jay Humphries rips it in. Sonics lead trimmed to 7. 6:21 to go in the third period. Pierce comes back, answers off a Cage pick. He'll run one up the flagpole and miss it. Rebound to Eaton. Out to Humphries. Centers it to Stockton. Picked up by McKee and Payton. Stockton darts out to midcourt. McKee all over. Stockton skips it to Karl Malone. Fakes right, moves left, rumbles to the glass, up and in with a left hand. Bailman with 17. And the Jazz come back with 5 unanswered points. 60 to 55. 5:57 left in the third. Derek McKee high on the left. to Cage, back to McKee, covered by Corbin, down low to Pierce. Pierce with his back to Humphries, double teamed, out to McKee. McKee double teamed, hook passes over to Payton. 7 on the shot clock, Payton into the lane, jump stop. Eaton leads in, swats it away, foul call on Mark Eaton. Gary Payton will go to the free throw line on the foul to, is it Eaton or Corbin? It's on Corbin.
Gary just forcing the action here as the clock winds down. Again, the Sonics putting the Jazz in a position where the referees are going to have to make some foul calls. They're getting to the free throw line, doing a much better job this third quarter than they did in the first half.
13 foul on the Jazz at the 5:40 mark. The Sonics guilty of the one-team foul, and Payton to the line drills the free throw. Payton with 7 points, 5 of his 7 here in the quarter.
And has played an excellent defensive quarter as well.
6-point Sonic lead, making a 7-point Sonic lead. Payton hits the free throw.
Except for game 3, Gary has been king of the third quarter in the series.
8 points, 4 assists for the ball game. Stockton stopped short of the 10-second mark. Guns one in the key to Malone. Over to Corbin, runs the baseline and lays it in with the right hand. Great ball movement by the Jazz. Sonics by 5. Back comes Payton to try to push the issue. He'll stop right side. Turned out by Stockton. He'll kick it over here to Ricky. Backing down on Humphries. Back to the basket. Double team. Has the ball above the head. Grabbed by Humphries and a jump ball called. Humphries and Pierce to jump it up.
The Jazz have been doing a good job in varying their defenses. Sometimes they've been double teaming, sometimes they haven't. The time before, Ricky had a single coverage, and this time he has a double and doesn't recognize it quite soon enough.
5:14 left in the third. Sonics lead it by 5, 62-57. Shrugging off his warm-up and stepping onto the floor is Sean Kemp. Sam Perkins will exit. Perkins 4 of 10, 8 points, 6 boards. Here's the tip. Pierce will tip it over to McKee, and he'll corral it along the sideline. Back to Ricky, turns into Humphries, deflected by Humphries, out of bounds. That time you have to like that move from Pierce. As soon as he got it, he made the drop step spin.
Exactly right. He did the right thing. He had single coverage by Humphries only. Humphries just made a very good defensive play.
McKee will bring it in bounds. 20 on the shot clock. Flip it outside to Michael Cage. He'll hand off now to Gary Payton. Sean Kemp will be guarded by Michael Brown down low. They'll feed to McKee. Backs on Corbin. Turns in the lane. He'll feather it up. Offensive foul. Whistle on McKee. They say he stuck the elbow out to clear some room on Corbin.
Well, that's fine. That's a good call as long as they make the same call against Karl Malone, who does that all game long in the low post.
He's a little more subtle, though. He keeps that left elbow tucked to the rib cage. He's got a big, big set of shoulders. A rack. 62-57 the count. Sonics by 5. 4:52 left in the third, and here's Stockton outside.
Gotta ask Sean Kemp how subtle that right arm was.
Not very subtle. About as subtle as a bulldozer. Kemp playing with 2 fouls. Here's Corbin now to bring it in bounds. Fresh 24 on the shot clock after the kickball call for the Jazz. Jay Humphries with 4:40 left in the third, working it outside. Seattle leading by 5. Humphries finds Malone, popping out. He'll get it on the wing. He's double teamed immediately. Leans in with the elbow. There you got it, Wally.
Okay. I'm fine if they're calling it consistently at both ends.
Karl Malone trying to clear some space with the elbow. Rakes it across Derek McKee's chest. That foul on Malone is his second. Seattle's lead is 5. They've led by as many as 10 here in the quarter. Their largest lead of the game. 4:24 left in the third. Derek McKee has been the money man here in the third, along with Payton. Feeds over to Pierce. Back to Derek. Outside Kemp. 15-footer. Squares on it. Had a great look at it. Hit the inside portion of the cylinder, but rimmed out. Malone recovers the rebound. Stockton will glance back at Jerry Sloan, and the Jazz set it up. 62-57. Sonics by 5. Stockton off the pick, and Malone guns it up into the boulevard. Kemp is there to spike it away, but Karl Malone will grab it. 7 on the shot clock for Karl, and Humphries fires a 3 short arm. Into the lap of who? A Sonic jabbing at it. Corbin will go into the air. Foul called. Foul is on Payton. It's his third. That is a tough, tough rebound to come up with if you're the defensive player. Look at this short arm 3-point shot.
Similar to the play Derek McKee scored on right there and hits the floor. Corbin was low to the floor with good strength, just able to get the ball up. And again, force the officials to make a call inside.
Shooting foul is the call, and Corbin will go to the line, an 82%er, and he flips it up and in. 62-58 is our score. 3:49 left here in the third. Seattle leading. The Knicks and the Pacers going to overtime tonight at 94 all in Game 4, with the Knicks leading 2-1 in Indianapolis tonight. Corbin missed it. Recovery by Humphries. Trapped in the corner. He'll call a timeout. 3:45 left in the third, and a timeout called on the floor at 22nd, called by the Jazz, with Seattle leading here by 4, 62-58. A reminder, this copyright telecast of the NBA may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Sonics have a good rhythm going here. Offensively, they have a lot of guys in the flow. They're getting good looks at the basket. They just need to get to the loose balls and control the defensive boards.
Derek McKee has garnered 8 of his 12 points here in the period. Gary Payton 6 of his 8 here in the quarter. And Sean Kemp has come up with 4 of his 14 here in this third period of play. It's a 4-point Sonic lead. 3:45 left in the third. Tyrone Corbin got it to Paul. Will bring it in front of his, or I should say in front of the Sonic bench.
Sonic's going very big here. Eddie Johnson comes in for Ricky Pierce to play the big guard.
Payton outside, challenges Humphries over to Jeff Malone. Open baseline jumper, got it. McKee overran the play, and Jeff Malone was able to sneak back to the baseline and drill it.
McKee tried to go over top and screen instead of chasing out. Created some space for Jeff Malone to hit that jumper.
Johnson penetrates, double team, kick out of McKee. He'll take long strides into the lane. Beautiful finger roll flip with a left hand off the dribble. Heavy D, 14 points for his mellowship with 10 of his 14 here in the quarter. He's been anything but mellow here in the third. He's been assertive. He's been the man.
That was sweet.
Humphries off the dribble. Fires over to Jeff Malone. He'll dribble into the baseline. Lean in and drop it down. Malone with 10. McKee, of course, has been given the double duty of handling the offense here and defensively challenging Jeff Malone 18 a game. Sonics by 2. 2:48 to go in the third. A great ball game. McKee now picked up by Karl Malone. McKee takes him off the cage pick. Corbin jumps out. McKee will feed it low to Michael. Outside to Kemp. 18-foot over Brown. Rims, falls. Karl Malone with the rebound. Got to get Kemp inside. He's missed his last 2 jump shots.
He's had good looks, good strokes. It's just been long with both of them. A little too much adrenaline.
Jazz trying to rally from 10 down here in the period. They can tie it on this possession. The crowd knows it. They're on their feet. 10:20 to go in the third. Corbin hands off to Jeff Malone. Covered by Eddie Johnson. McKee reaches in, lunges. The 2 go to the deck. Malone and McKee fall with a foul. Call on McKee. Timeout called by the Jazz. 2:16 left in the third. 64-62. Seattle on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.
This building.
Break brought to you by Farmers Insurance. America depends on farmers and has for over 60 years.
Not really a fast break. That was from the half-court set, but a terrific move going to his left hand by Derek McKee.
McKee is at 4-4 in the quarter. The Sonics 8 of 14, but the Jazz are 8 of 14 as well. Seattle 4-4 from the line. The Jazz 1 of 2. Here the Jazz now with a chance to take a stalemate, a tie at 2:11 in the third. Seattle led by as many as 10 here in the third. Jeff Malone right side with a quick move. Bangs into McMillan. Nate was out of position, moving on the play, and the foul called on McMillan. Second on Mac. The Sonics at the limit of 4 now, with 2:06 remaining in the third. Jeff Malone has been a hot hand. He's hit his last 2. Yeah, here are the Jazz now. Inbounds with a chance to tie it. 2 minutes remaining in the third. Humphries outside the 3-point ring.
Sonics need to crank up the pressure and do a good job defensively with Stockton on the bench.
Karl Malone has Case playing behind him. He's double teamed. Tried to pass out on the point to Malone. It was deflected by Kemp and grabbed by McMillan. Laid over to Johnson. He'll square flip with 19 on the shot clock and knock it down. Eddie Johnson with 9 for the game.
Once again, early offense keyed by good defense. One of the few turnovers the Sonics been able to convert here this ballgame.
4 points, Sonic lead. 1:33 left in the third. Jay Humphries challenged by Payton outside. Karl Malone comes to the ball side. I should say Payton really leading on Humphries. Cage comes around in front of Malone to deflect the ball away, and a foul is called on Michael Cage. That's the 4th on Michael, the 4th team foul on the Sonics, and Malone will go to the line.
Excellent defense, excellent footwork by Michael Cage against Malone.
5th Utah team foul. George Karloff off the bench. He says, "You got to be kidding me, Mike Mathis." So the Malone man will go to the line, the mailman. 6 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from the line, 17 points, 8 rebounds for Karl. His free throw is good.
The Dream Teamer, the co-MVP at the All-Star break with John Stockton on his home floor. He averages close to 10 free throw attempts per ball game. Shot up, got it. 19 for Carl. It's a 66-64 contest. Seattle by 2. 1:24 left here in the third. Eddie Johnson, right side, hands off to Payton. He'll gallop into the lead spot at the seam, switches left to right hand and lays it in neatly off the window.
Sonics just running their weave out front until someone can find a lane. Gary executed beautifully.
Payton blasting to the rack. 8 of his 10 have been scored in the quarter. Seattle's lead is 4. 1:06 left in the third. Humphries outside, gathered in by Payton. Gary's got a beat on Humphries, handles the ball, yo-yos a left-handed, dribbled with 9 on the shot clock, blast to the inline, leaned in on Payton, pushed off, missed the baseline shot. Johnson hovers around the lid to grab the rebound.
Great defense once again by Gary, forcing Humphries into a very, very tough shot.
68-64, 43 seconds left in the third. Sonic basketball. Payton fires a just pass to Johnson. He'll flare, he'll fire, he'll hit. Eddie Johnson off a solid pick by Michael Cage. Eddie drops in his last 2, and the Sonics lead by 6.
Eddie with a great feel tonight from the right-hand side of the court. Sonics just keep running plays for him over that direction.
70-64 with 28 seconds remaining in the third. Humphries is double teamed, spins out of traffic, deflected by Payton and grab. Gary will take it right at Humphries to the glass. He'll finish it up, and he rolled it off. Could not finish it. Rebound to Karl Malone. Out to Jay Humphries. 15 seconds remaining in the third. Got to tighten up now. Seattle by 6. Humphries across midcourt with 9. With 8 left in the third. With 7. Humphries beyond the three-point perimeter. Hands to Corman, a good shooter. Look out over to Malone. With 2. With 1. He'll turn. He'll fire. Off the mark. That ends the third quarter. The score. Seattle 70. The Jazz 64. Back in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Well, the Supersonics' Eddie Johnson drilled his last 2 jump shots, and he kind of sets the defense up on the handoff to Payton. Wally?
Yeah, the Sonics just running the old-fashioned Boston Celtic 3-man weave out front. Eddie just with a handoff, and Gary finds his seam and makes a strong drive to the hoop.
Gary Payton scored 8 of his 10 in the third quarter. Eddie Johnson came up with 2 late bombs that were key, and McKee had 10 of his 14 in the third. Seattle holds a 6-point lead as they go into the fourth quarter. They held a 6-point lead in game 3. Here's Kemp, drop step spin into the lane, tried to feed off. Deflected ball grabbed by Jeff Malone. He'll center it to John Stockton. Boy, if you're beneath the basket, you almost have to go to the rack on that play.
Yeah, you got to run the risk of getting a shot block there to, again, force a foul situation.
Stockton low to Karl Malone, outside to Stockton. Covered by Cage. He's done a nice job on Karl Malone. Stockton slants in. Open man. Jeff Malone leads in and bombs it home. Jeff Malone with 12 points.
When he can lean into the basket, he's an excellent shooter. If you force him to do something else, a much lower percentage shooter.
70-66, 11-11 to go in the fourth. McMillan high on the right side, comes off a Cage screen, misdirects, crossover dribble to the baseline, shut off by Jeff Malone. McMillan to Johnson, off balance, jumper won't go. Kemp grabs the rebound. He'll unload outside of McMillan. Timed it beautifully.
Yes.
McMillan to Johnson, pops out off the Kemp pick. He'll fire another. Got it, Eddie Johnson. Johnson with 13. Pretty solid screen set by Sean.
Very solid. Again, that's the key to the Sonic half-court offense. When you're not going well, you're not seeing the good solid screen set.
6-point Sonic lead, 10-4-1 left in the fourth. McKee and Perkins getting set to come in. Here's Stockton with a left-hand dribble. Looking to pass over to Jeff Malone, popping out to get it is Nate McMillan. Boy, he had that ball, he had that play solved beautifully. But it just caught the top of the shoe as he grabbed it with the extended right hand.
It was actually off Gary's foot. Gary stands right here, gets a little piece up to slow it up for Nate.
So a kick ball, give it to Utah with 10.5 minutes remaining in the game. 6-point Sonic lead. Johnson, McKee, McMillan, Kemp, and Perkins now on the floor for Seattle. Stockton double team, floats a pass over to Jeff Malone. Into the lane he comes, off balance leader with the right hand, arcs it high off the window and got it.
That's a very difficult shot.
Oh, man. Body turning, twisting in the air. Able to adjust. McMillan floats one to Perkins. Perkins double teamed over to Eddie. Now to Matt. Open on the wing. Fires away. Missed it. Rebound to Kemp. He'll tip it up and in from 5 feet outside. Kemp was 16. I think he was surprised that there was no whistle.
He could have brought it down and just laid it up or dunked it because Karl Malone had gone reeling out of there.
Sonics by 6. Stockton spots a seam on the double team trap. Feed it to Malone. Over to Corbin. Off the wing. Missed the jumper. Rebound to Kemp. Now Sean getting on that glass. 74-68. McMillan cross-court to Johnson. He'll thread one up. Rebound tipped outside by McKee to McMillan. Nate McMillan with it.
9:36 left. Cross-court pass, McMillan to Johnson, spies a three, flies it, misses. Rebound right to Eddie. Hill into the lane, cut. And Perkins steps up, jams it down. Perkins with 10 for the game. Seattle playing loose, leading by 8. 9:25 to go in the game. You can see it on the Sonic bench. There's fire. There's electricity and enthusiasm. Back with more after this on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Seattle has taken an 8-point lead with 9:25 to go in the game, Wally.
And the hustle plans will be huge in this game. Eddie misses a shot, follows up, makes a beautiful dish inside, and Sam puts the cap on it.
Seattle winning the hustle play, shooting well in the third quarter. They were 61% on 11 of 18. Now here comes John Stockton. The Sonics on an 11-4 run to begin the period. Stockton to Corbin, over to Jeppenon, turn to the lane, off balance, tough when he missed it. Rebound gathered in by Nate McMillan. He'll hustle up the floor. Everybody running the lanes, spread the floor. Perkins trailing on the play, takes it into Eaton. He blocks the shot. Deflected to Corbin. Out to Stockton. He'll run to Corbin into the lane, lays it up and in. He's fouled. Corbin will go to the line.
Stockton's so good at running the break and hitting his cutters, his lane man at exactly the right time. Corbin rumbles in. The chance for a three-point play.
And McMillan upset at himself, and he knows it better than anybody else. If you're going to take a foul, you better get a step on the guy and clobber him. Corbin misses the shot. Perkins grabs the rebound. The Sonics lead is 6 with 8:53 left in the game. McMillan outside, checked by Stockton, picks up the dribble, and John is all over it. Mack needs help. He'll find McKee open on the wing. McKee covered by Corbin. McMillan then off the pass, tried to make a cut inside, and Stockton, as he does so well, anticipates players' movement, sets his feet, draws the charge on McMillan. It's a turnover. Sonics with 11 turnovers, the Jazz with 11, but the Sonics have cashed in for 13 points off turnovers. They lead by 6, 8.5 minutes to go in the game. Stockton looking at Karl Malone. Malone swaying back on Perkins. He'll get it. Double team, triple teamed out to Jeppenon. Center it to Corbin. Out of the key. Kemp runs at him. Corbin will dribble, drive, try to feed it off to the wing to McMillan. And a foul called. It'll be on a Jazz. It will be on Corbin. Fourth foul on Corbin.
The Sonics emphasized the shoot-around today. They're going to try to take some charges defensively. Sam Perkins, one of the best big men in the league, stepping in, holding his position, and taking the blow.
Boy, that defense was rotating and sprinting out at people. Beautiful job done by Seattle. Sonics by 6, 8:18 to go in the game. Payton runs down off a Johnson pick, now reverses. Tried to take it into the boulevard on Stockton, turned away over to Eddie, falling is Jeppenon. Johnson, the open J, rims, they go up around the lid, and it's Malone with a muscling rebound, the outlet to Stockton. Went behind him, had to save it. Now with a hippity-hop dribble outside, he frees himself, skips it over to Jeppenon. He'll set up and fire over the oncoming McKee. Missed it short. McKee knocked him down, no whistle. Rebound to Payton, up the floor to McKee. Stops, sways, dribbles by Eaton, leads in, and finishes beautifully over Stockton. McKee with a finger roll, 16 for Heavy D.
And did it at the defensive end to start that fast break with a great defense against Malone's shot.
What a play by McKee. He has been outstanding. 7:38 left in the game. Now here's Jeff Malone, draws double team, pressure out beyond the three-point line. McKee and Kemp trap it. He'll swing it a corner. Penetrates left side, returned away by Kemp. Back to Jeff Malone. Off-balance jumper won't go. Rebound inside. Deflected by Karl Malone, out of bounds. Seattle basketball with 7:25 to go in the ball game.
The Sonics doing a much better job of keeping the ball out of Karl Malone's hands and getting to him early in the double team when he does catch it. Let's have somebody else beat us.
8-point Sonic lead with 7:25 left here in the game. Seattle trying to force Game 5 Saturday afternoon in Seattle. Here's Payton outside. Runs off the high post screen set by McKee. Stockton fights over the top. Now McKee will pick down. He'll draw Stockton down low and get it from Gary, and Stockton leans in for the foul. I like that two-man play, especially if Stockton switches on McKee when he rolls down low, Wally.
A good screen, forced to switch. Stockton had to end up on McKee because McKee laid the wood on him. And the result is a good one for the Sonics.
Even Stockton's going to have a tough time getting around 6'10" Derek McKee with those long legs. All right, the Sonics bring it in bounds. First 24 on the shot clock. McKee, a diagonal cross-court pass in the corner to Payton. He'll blow right by Stockton, lean in. Went up with a shot, swatted away by Malone. He'll recover it and feed it ahead to John Stockton. Swiveling the head left and right, he'll curl out on the wing. Payton recovers to stop Stockton. Over it comes to Benoit. Benoit floats it low to Malone. He's in deep. Blocked by McKee. The ball deflected off his head. Out of bounds, Sonic basketball. I tell you what, Steve Jobby
was in perfect position to make the call. That's a tough call for an official to make, Wally, but I think he made the right one.
You want to talk about perfect position? Look at Derek McKee going up with the great hands without fouling. Sensational defensive play.
Derek McKee with another play. 6:44 left in the game. 78-70. Sonics by 8. Back after the timeout on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. How do you play Sonic basketball? Well, you do it by committee, and it starts at the point. Gary Payton has been a man. Sean Kemp has been a man. The Sonics, 5 players in double-figure scoring. McKee with 16, Kemp with 16, Payton with 10. 13 to Johnson, 10 to Perkins. Here are the Sonics with an 8-point lead and 6.5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Humphries jumps out to spear that ball, but deflected out of bounds. Seattle basketball, 13 on the shot clock. Let's set the lineup for you now. McKee and Kemp and Perkins are on the front line with Johnson and Payton. Actually, McKee goes out at the 2 spot for all intents and purposes. Tyrone Corbin will pick up McKee as he brings it inbounds to Perkins.
It's been the Sonics' most effective lineup throughout this ballgame. This is not a time for the Sonics to go tentative on the offensive end.
McKee will drop it low to Perkins, working on Benoit. They like that matchup. He'll dribble down, turn around jumper with 3. Got it. Oh, what a beauty. Oh, Sam Perkins with 12. Rolls in a beauty.
Sam's had a quiet second half offensively, but he is such a smart player.
80-70 the score with 6:11 to play here in the ball game. Outside is Stockton. Left wing, challenged by Payton. Looking low for Malone. Offensive foul. Can it be? It is. It's on the mailman. It's the 3rd on Malone.
And a good call by Steve Johnny.
Malone frustrated. Karl Malone is hit 6 of 16 from the field. 80-70 the count. Payton double teamed over to McKee. Had the handle on the ball, lost it, but batted it over to Perkins. Turnaround jumper, draws iron, rims off. Corbin with a rebound. 5:52 left in the ball game. Seattle by 10. Here comes Stockton the other way. Covered by McKee. Over to the man. Corbin slams into the lane. Rolls it in with a finger roll. Corbin with 9.
That was just too easy. One pass and a layup.
Corbin trailing. Nobody picked him up. Corbin reaching in, lunging at the ball now. Payton puts a dribble on. McKee puts a dribble on the floor. Floats it over to Gary. Double teamed out wide to Johnson. Open from the corner to let him fly. 3 ball good for Eddie Johnson.
Has Eddie been deadly from the right-hand side?
Eddie Johnson putting the Sonics on top by 11, Waller.
I think this is his 6th hoop from the right-hand side of the court.
5:17 left. Stockton blows into the lane. Over to Karl Malone. Baseline jumper won't go. Rims off the heel of the iron. Goes over the glass and out of bounds. It'll be Sonic ball with 5 minutes remaining. Remember, the coach is telling us last night, Bob Kloppenberg said, we almost need a 10-point lead with about 4 minutes to go to win in this building. He might get it. It's an 11-point spread.
And once again, the Sonics need to keep attacking offensively. They can't allow themselves to stand around and pass the ball on the perimeter.
5:03 left. Payton over to Johnson. He'll fire one up. Rim it short. McKee the follow-up and in with the left hand. He came over the top. Derek McKee went sky high. He went straight up in the air with the left hand. Mike Mathis rules a loose ball foul. 4th foul on McKee.
Derek very rarely complains to the officials. We couldn't really see his off arm there, but it's a lovely tip with the left, and Derek thought otherwise.
Well, Mike Mathis indicated that he had the right arm on Corbin and shoved him out of the way. Seattle's lead is 11. 4:52 left in the ballgame. Stockton left side double team. Kick out to Malone. Double teamed over to Stockton. Post up. In the air he comes. Kemp skies up. Deflects the shot. Goaltending the call. Stockton with 11. He did not score in the 3rd quarter, John Stockton. Seattle's lead is 9. 83-74. 4:42 to go in the ballgame. You have to execute under the 5-minute mark. Here's Payton now. Takes it left side with a left-hand dribble. McKee will pick down at Stockton. Now he will roll. He will get the ball. Stockton trying to come around.
Yes.
McKee with a beautiful skip pass into the lane. Perkins lays it up and in. What a play.
Once again, the switch forces Stockton on to McKee with a huge advantage to the Sonics.
This is the best ball McKee has played in the second half of the season tonight. Stockton over to Humphries, races with a 3, won't go. Johnson comes to the rebound.
Down court.
4 minutes remaining in the game. Seattle by 11. 85-74. Payton sprints back to get the basketball out of backcourt. He'll charge up the floor by Stockton. Spins into Humphries. Knocked down. Offensive foul call on the Sonics. Gary Payton spinning, working on Humphries. The Sonics have got to stay composed. George Karl knows it.
Gary a little bit out of control. Of course, trying to force the action, which is the direction of that man, George Carl. That gets caught for one in the offensive charge call.
Well, George got up. He had arms down low to the floor. Hey, let's settle down. We got a lead. Let's compose ourselves. Malone, pass inside to Stockton. Deflects off the shoulder. Grabbed by Brown. Turns in the air. Missed the shot. Rebound. Kemp had it taken away by Corbin. His turnaround jumper is deflected by Kemp. Perkins grabs it. Sticks it out. Over comes Stockton to the steal. Perkins steps up. Blocks the shot away from Brown. Knocks him down. Perkins stands over Brown. Points at him. Seattle will take it back. What a wild exchange.
What a
3:41 left. Seattle leading 85-74. You want to know where the fire is? It's right there.
Great block by Sean. Stockton's going to sneak around, make a good steal. But now the action begins. There's nothing but bodies flying. The big brown bear sent it out of there, says Sam, and then off his head.
Watch Perkins. He said, don't bring the weak stuff in here anymore. 85-74, a break with 3:41 left on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.
That was Jazz in a situation where...
Tickets on sale tomorrow, beginning at 10:30 for Saturday's Game 5, if need be. Johnson, pull-up jumper, in and out. Rebound to Corbin. 3.5 minutes left in the game. 85-74, Seattle leading, Wally.
Jazz forced to go to the pressure defense full court. The Sonics had numbers at 2-on-1. Eddie got a good look at it. I like the shot.
Here's Humphries off the Brown pick, out wide on the left. Jump, stop, Kemp steps out. Brown in low, swoops up the reverse right hand. No, Corbin follows it up and in with a left-handed tip.
Sonics need to get all 5 players in the defensive glass. They've been hurt with the tip late in the ball game. Every game they've lost.
9-point Sonic lead, 3 minutes remaining. Here's Payton outside, tried to dart in. Now he'll feed out to Perkins. And Sam will give it away here to Gary. 11 on the shot clock. Chest pass over to Kemp. Working on Karl Malone outside. 7 on the shot clock. Cross court, Payton with 5. Raises, fires, air ball, grabbed by Johnson. He'll go to the glass. Lay it in. He's fouled. And Eddie Johnson will go to the line with 2:47 left in the game.
Kevin,
Eddie Johnson puts the Sonics on top, 87-76.
You need a little luck to win on the road to playoffs, too. 2 air balls this half by Sonics have resulted in easy layup attempts inside. Another chance for a 3-point playoff, a short Sonics shot.
Seattle leading by 11. And with a Johnson free throw, they can take their largest lead of the game, and they do. Johnson's free throw. And that is our Sonics Horizon Air instant replay. Seattle by 11 at 88-76. Make that a 12-point lead. Outside Corbin raises. His jumper off the mark. Grabbed by Johnson. This issue could very well have been decided on that miss. It's a 12-point Sonic lead with 2:29 left. 88-76 the count. Here's McKee outside holding the ball, letting it work down to 11 to 10. McKee checked by Corbin beyond the 3-point line with 7. With 6 with 5. McKee makes his move. Hook passes to Johnson. Out of the corner. 3 ball. That's the game. He knocks down a 3-pointer. Johnson with 3 threes for the game. Oh, man. Here's Stockton. He'll fire a 3. No. Perkins into the air. Has it deflected away by Corbin on the rebound attempt. Jammed into the corner. Corbin. Beat it outside here to Stockton. And a whistle and a foul called on the Utah Jazz. Karl Malone in his frustration lashing out with a forearm. 1:55 left in the game. 91-76 the count. A near carbon copy, Wally, of Game 1 for Seattle tonight.
No, exactly right. And Eddie, I don't know why the Jazz players have left him alone all night, because he's proven he's got the hot hand.
Johnson has hit 9 of 18 from the field. He's been outstanding. 15-point Sonic lead with 1:46 left in the game. McKee skips it outside to Perkins. Perk back to McKee high on the right. McKee double team. McKee skips it over to Perkins. 7 on the shot clock. Runs the baseline out to Eddie for another 3. He'll flip it up and off the mark. Rebound Kemp. Outside to Johnson and a foul. And Sean Kemp will step up on a foul to Jay Humphries. Saturday, 12:30 tip at the Coliseum in Seattle. We want to see you over there.
See Sean Kemp work his way inside. Long rebound that time, and able to use his quickness and get out and corral the ball.
10 a.m. Ticketmaster open tomorrow morning at all the usual ticket outlets. Sonics tickets available for Game 5. Yes, there will be a Game 5. Seattle by 15. 1:22 left in the game. Kemp outside of McKee. 11 on the shot clock. McKee to Johnson. Eddie Johnson working on Michael Brown. DJ lets it go to 4, to 3, to 2, leans in, off balance 12-footer. He got it. He's coming away smiling with 24 points. Johnson with a 13-point fourth period of play. 17-point Sonic lead. 1:04 left. Stockton in the corner, fires one off. A 3, air ball grabbed by Johnson. Eddie Johnson once more. He'll bring it across midcourt. Eddie now McCurl looking for help.
Kevin, I got to go on record. Bob Kloppenberg said today after shooting practice, Jazz are going to be held to 79 points or less.
He nailed it. Eddie Johnson with 24 points to lead all scorers.
The Sonics have had a great defensive series all throughout, but tonight the offense came back and was alive.
McKee with a no-look skip pass over to Perkins. Turns, he walked with the ball. Jazz will take it back with 38 seconds remaining. 93-76. Seattle by 17 big ones. And here comes Stockton into the lane. Hands to Malone, get out of his way. They'll lay it up and in. Karl Malone with 21 points. That is the first basket Malone has scored in the fourth quarter. You talk about a shutdown. That comes at the 32nd mark of the fourth period. 15-point Sonic lead.
And the frustration has shown up with the number of offensive fouls he's gotten by trying to take position down low.
Here's McKee outside. Chopped by Corbin and Humphries and fouled. McKee will go to the line. You mentioned it, Wally. I would agree. Tonight, this has probably been the best Sonic lineup they've been able to put out there with McKee, Perkins, Kemp, Payton, and Johnson, obviously, with a hot hand. You got to figure either Eddie or Ricky going to have the hot hand. Tonight, it was Eddie Johnson. It was all easy 8 in the fourth quarter. 13 of his 24 here in the fourth quarter play. But don't forget this man, Derek McKee. 7 of 8 from the field, Wally. 2 of 3 from the line. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists.
Sonics with 21 assists right now. You got Derek with 6. That just means everyone's moving very well, and he's involved in the game.
McKee misses both free throws, but it does not matter. There will be Game 5 on Saturday. The Sonics lead it 93-78. Humphries into the lane over to Corbin. Up he comes. He'll lay it in. 13 for Corbin. 6 seconds remaining. Perkins will hold. Perkins will hold. Ahead to McMillan. He'll dribble across, and it is over. And there is a 5th game on the way to Seattle. The Sonics come out and take it away from the Jazz. 93-80. And now they're taking it home on Saturday to take on the Jazz at the Coliseum. 12:30 tip. We'll have it for you on radio, and it will be broadcast nationally. We'll be right back in a moment. Seattle 93, Jazz 80 on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 93-80, the finals of the Sonics have tied the series here at 2-2 and head home for Game 5 on Saturday at the Coliseum. Consistent play by the Sonics. They shoot 48%, Wally. They come up with a 49-point second half, and they really set it up with a great offensive and defensive display.
The defense has been good throughout this series, but tonight the offense came to play. They scored just 93 points, and that's been plenty good to win in this series.
The hard cuts of McKee and Payton set up the jump shot of Eddie Johnson tonight. Tickets on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. We will get underway at 12:30 at the Coliseum. Game 5 between the Sonics and the Jazz. When we come back, stay with us. Wally Walker will be chatting with Gary Payton. That's next here on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.
The Sonics postgame show is brought to you by Ben Bridge, the Diamond people for over 4 generations.
Tonight's postgame interview with Gary Payton, brought to you by Ben Bridge and Seiko for turning in the outstanding performance. Gary receives a Fashion Quartz dress watch, compliments of Ben Bridge and Seiko. Remember, for fine jewelry, talk to the Diamond people for over 4 generations. Ben Bridge, located in downtown Seattle and all major malls. Gary Payton tonight, 10 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal. Wally Walker's got him.
Thanks, Kevin. Gary, we're standing here in the booth. We're raining down on Eddie Johnson. He's been interviewed by Utah TV. Talk a little bit about his shooting performance tonight.
Well, Eddie came through tonight. He had a great shooting performance. He was hitting some big shots for us, 3-pointers. We seen he was hot. When they started trapping us, we went to him, and he got open, and he did what he had to do. Yeah, that's why he's Eddie Johnson.
The 2 games you lost, the last 2 games of the series, the team played a little tight. What was your approach to this ball game here tonight when you had to win?
Well, what we did was we came out, and Coach told us to play loose. He wanted us to really just go out and play like we're on the streets. Just play street ball and run up and down the court. If we had to hit somebody, hit them. And that's why we came out. We came out, we rebound. We wasn't scared of anybody. We took it to them, and they didn't respond so very well, and we just came out and we played a good ball game.
Now, the offense has just been struggling throughout the series, and I think you talked about the key. You got to push the ball up. Your early offense is much more effective than your half-court offense.
Well, yes, it is. I mean, when we get steals and we run, I think we're a great team. They want to get us in a half-court offense so that they can break us down, beat us up, and all that. But we keep going fast and running, and I don't think they can keep up with us. They're not that fast. With Mark Eden in there, we really know that we can run, and we just trying to run all the time.
Now, your offense struggled in this series only in the last game. The other games, including tonight, you had terrific third quarters. Are you just tell yourself at halftime you're going to be aggressive offensively when the second half starts?
Well, yeah. The last game, I wasn't into it. I came out this game in the first half and wasn't into it really. Then I went back there and I really thought about it. I said I got to kick it up a little bit, and it came on, and my game came on. And when I got to get it united in the second half so that we can keep running. It's all up to me, so I got to get it going.
Derek McKee had an outstanding all-around floor game. Really saw the floor well, had 6 assists, and really contributed when you did have to set up in the half court.
Well, he got to play for us to win this series. When he comes to play, I don't think there's nobody in the league that can stop him down there at this low block. And when he plays, I think all of us plays around him, and I like playing with him when he's playing like that, so I'm going to be right with him.
Let's talk about the defense now. You've been matched up most of the series against John Stockton, arguably the best point guard in the game, certainly one of the toughest to control, keep him out of the paint, whether he's creating for himself or for his teammates. You've done an outstanding job of keeping him in front of you. What are you thinking when you have him on the defensive end?
Well, what I'm basically thinking is don't let him penetrate and create off the dribble and find wide open people, because I know my people in the back are going to have to help. So what I do is I try to keep him in front and make him shoot the jumper and make him pass right by me so that we can get the double team down on Carl. And it's been doing a good job. When he penetrates, he sees a lot of people around him, and he kicks it out, and we're rotating pretty well.
Tonight, the Jazz made an adjustment on their offense to slip the center inside for a quick pass when Stockton was double-teamed out front. You guys seem to make an adjustment yourself to cut that down in the second half.
Well, we did. We wasn't rotating right, and we went in and seen it at halftime, and then we start cutting it down. I mean, we got to make the other people on the other side catch the ball and shoot and let them do something with it. And what we was doing, we were building out to them too quick, and, we letting him get wide open dunks, and we can't do that. We got to let him get out a little bit, about 6 feet more out, and see what he can do then.
Okay, what happens on Saturday?
Well, they got to come back to Seattle now. I think we feel real good about that, and, you see the way the crowd for it right now. I know our crowd's going to be into it. They're going to get a lot of chitter-chatter from them, and I think our crowd is going to help us a lot.
Okay, Gary, terrific ball game. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we'll be right back on Sonic Broadcasting Network.
Saturday, 12:30 at the Coliseum. Game 5, the deciding game between the Jazz and the Sonics. Tickets on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster and all the usual ticket outlets. And, of course, we'll have it for you on radio beginning at noon. It's a nationally televised broadcast on NBC. And, Wally, Sonics will get some national exposure for the first time in the series with the Jazz in Game 5. An exciting game tonight as Seattle shoots 49%. And hold the Jazz to 42% shooting. The Jazz in the fourth quarter, 8 of 22, 36. The Sonics 10 of 22, 45%. Free throws, Jazz 12 out of 17. Sonics 7 out of 9. Assists, Seattle 21. Jazz 25. Turnovers, 14 and 14. But the Sonics had 13 points off of Jazz turnovers, and Utah 6 points off of 14 Sonic turnovers. That was a real key in the ball game. The rebounding, Wally, Seattle had their way in the second half, outboarding the Jazz 20-17 and for the game as well. 3-point shooting, obviously a very big key in this one, as Eddie Johnson comes up with 3 of 5 shooting from 3-point range, and the Sonics finish 4 of 8 for the evening from 3-point range. What'd you see out there tonight?
Well, you saw a terrific defensive effort as you have the other 3 games of the series, but with the offense rolling like it was tonight, getting some quick shots, some early shots, Derek McKee involved, of course Eddie Johnson getting hot. We knew it was a matter of time before somebody did get hot. Tonight it was Eddie at exactly the right time.
Derek McKee tonight had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, and was his most assertive in the third period when he took it airborne a number of times. on this particular occasion on Mark Eaton with a not-so-subtle windmill jam. He picked up, in fact, 10 of his 16 in that third period.
Well, he was the key because the Sonics have struggled throughout the series in the third quarter. They came out, and Derek McKee with the 10 points really got him going and kept the momentum going into the fourth period.
There goes Eddie Johnson to a hail of boos here at the Delta Center. It's scary when Eddie gets into one of the zones because the chi energy becomes very apparent. That mind-to-body connection is made, and Eddie just went off tonight in that fourth quarter.
The chi energy, huh? It was like the kismet. And Eddie, this is his most difficult attempt. He mostly had standstill jumpers. But at the end of the ball game, you can see him when he turns around, he's going to have the big smile because he was juking and weaving and spinning and still got it to go. That shot is the definition of a hot hand.
Sonics had the 6-point lead going into the fourth quarter, 70-64, and they were assertive early. What was the difference in your mind, Wally, say from this game to game 3 when they had the 6-point lead going into the fourth period?
They controlled the defensive backboard. Karl Malone and John Stockton weren't able to dominate the half-court offensive execution. In fact, Malone was completely frustrated. He wasn't able to get anything inside, was missing his outside shot, and then the Sonics executed much better at the offensive end.
Derek McKee has very simply had a very consistent, a very high-octane playoff series here. He obviously took a great deal of criticism in the second half of the season, particularly in the last month of the season when his play waned a little bit. But you talk about a big-time player that brought it tonight. Derek McKee has brought it not only this series, but his play was crucial to the Sonics' victory here tonight in Salt Lake City.
He was shooting 56% for the series coming in, one of the few Sonics who was shooting well, then goes 8 for 9 tonight. So offensively, defensively, he did it all in this series and the ball game tonight.
Wally, in just a little time we have left, what do you think about Game 5? What are we going to see Game 5 Saturday? What adjustments do you think might be made?
I think Utah will try early to go inside to Karl Malone. They got away from it. He was missing his jump shot early. I think he won't settle for that jump shot. He'll go right inside, do what he does so well in the left-hand block. I think John Stockton will look at the basket more than he did in the second half. And I think the Sonics will just continue to try to push the ball up, get the early offense, and try to score 100 points.
Malone was held 3 of 12 shooting at half with 7 of 18 for the ball game, and he didn't pick up his only field goal in the fourth quarter came at the 32nd mark of the fourth period. The Sonics completely, as Wally said, took him out of it. Again, tickets available on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. The Sonics and the Jazz get started with the tip at 12:30 at the Seattle Center Coliseum. We'll, of course, have the broadcast on radio only for you locally, beginning at straight up 12 noon, nationally televised broadcast on NBC. A wild one tonight. We thank you very much for joining us and for supporting the Sonics. Come on out Saturday. For Wally Walker, Jim Ross, Lloyd Glazier, our group back at KJR, Terry Reed, Rick Turner, I'm Kevin Calabro. Repeating again the final, Sonics 93, Jazz 80, as you heard it and saw it here tonight on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.